This is the knockout artist, Chris Hero. And if you're looking for some Tru Heel Heat, you better listen to them boys.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with Tru Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
All right, hello, Tru Heel Heat. I'm the AEW World Champion MJF. Just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or since you listen to this podcast, or you're listening to Tru Heel Heat, and I apologize for that.
What's going on, everybody? This is your former AEW World Heavyweight Champion. Once a champion, always a champion. Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. You're watching Tru Heel Heat podcast.
Another great Saturday, a great Saturday where WWE is counter-programming every single AEW pay-per-view that they can. Another great Saturday where WWE is using TNA in a proxy war, and TNA might get a TV deal. Yay, but it's going to be on Wednesdays against AEW. Boo. Or however you feel about it. I don't know. I don't care. What I'm really pissed off about is that Gedo can't see youth as much as Triple H can't see color. And he hates the youth movement in New Japan New Japan Pro Wrestling so much. Evil is in the G1 Climax finals. All right, I'm officially giving up on New Japan. This is the Tru Heel Heat flagship podcast where we will talk no New Japan because of this morning. Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for Tru Heel Heat 342 Proxy Warfare, discussing the latest wrestling news, including WWE using TNA Wrestling to counter-program AEW potentially on Wednesday nights, as well as putting another WWE PLE, this time a main roster PLE against AEW All Out next month. You also got is Karrion Kross's exit from WWE a work or not? We're going to discuss that on the show as the police try to get Karrion Kross for working us. And a recap of this week in wrestling with WWE SmackDown featuring Sami Zayn becoming the newest member of the Blue Brand, Raw on Netflix featuring Seth Rollins getting a 4-way title match for Clash in Paris, NXT Evolve, TNA Impact, and Emergence featuring Trick Williams versus Moose, AEW Dynamite featuring Cope and Christian reunion, very rushed reunion, Collision featuring Kyle Fletcher versus Tomohiro Ishii banger. You also had the NJPW G1 Climax 35 final week that we will say nothing about because hell froze over. CMLL's Viernes, Espectacular featuring MJF defending the CMLL World Championship for the very first time. Plus, we got much more to discuss with final predictions for AAA's TripleMania 33 tonight, as well as the G1 Climax 35 final tomorrow morning. And of course, to do all of that, I am joined by the Tru Draw himself, Josh. How are you feeling?
You sure they weren't looking for Gedo? Well, all that police sirens in the back.
They're looking for Gedo. They're looking for Triple H. They're looking for TNA. Everybody's getting arrested this morning.
No, I don't think they're looking for TNA. I think they're just laughing at TNA.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, Gato's the one who has the latest crime, so that's why the police are out here right now. But yes, we got a lot to discuss. It's going to be another busy week in pro wrestling, just like last week was a busy week in pro wrestling. So we appreciate y'all joining us every Saturday to talk all about the world of pro wrestling. We appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the comment section if you're watching us on demand. If you're with us live, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you and hear your thoughts on this week in pro wrestling, your thoughts, your hot takes, your opinions on everything going on in the world of wrestling. We want to hear from you, so sound off in the live chat and join the conversation. This is the most interactive show we do here on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, so we'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to get back to what we do here, you want to show your support to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, you could do so with a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here, and we always appreciate the support. We got Zach in the chat who says, good morning, SP3 and everyone. We also got Greg Carter II who says, now Gedo gotta get hands, feet, and put on him for this bullshit. He doesn't like us. I said it to people. I was like, Gedo don't like us that much. Gedo would do something like this to screw us over. He's mad at me, and he's gonna screw us all over by having evil in the finals of the damn G1. My sacred G1. Like, for all the allegations me and Jay News were talking about, with people saying this person didn't have a good G1, this person didn't have a good G1, for all of that, all the complaints, they were right. This is not a good G1 because evil is in the finals, ladies and gentlemen. Evil. Why does Gedo hate me so much? We got a super chat donation, speaking of which, from Negro Buck Nick Jackson. Negro Buck Nicky Boy says, Gedo must pay for his crimes. He deserves the chair. Are you happy about Evil in the finals, Josh?
I mean, I'm as happy as eating 8-month-old rice cakes, if that helps.
You as happy as Triple H being forced to eat collard greens and chicken?
I don't know. He being insane after seeing those pictures, man.
Maybe smoking something. I don't know. We got Nicky Boy also. Thank you so much, Nicky Boy. He says the fact that Evil is in the final of the greatest professional wrestling tournament in the world is a fucking embarrassment. I agree. Couldn't agree more with Gabe Kidd with that quote. We also got here Blood Money, who says F Gedo, Rocky Romero, and Bushi Road. We're all pissed off at Gedo and New Japan this morning. I like it. I like the vibes of the chat so far. Nicky Boy says your face sums up my feelings perfectly, SP3. There's no forcing a smile on me today. Not after this morning. I woke up to receive pain. I woke up early, watched New Japan Pro Wrestling, and received pain in the process. That's not what I want in exchange for watching wrestling. Nicky Boy says, fair, hit the intro. We also got here, we got Nicky Boy. He says, I hear sirens in the background. They must be looking for Gedo. That is correct. That is what they're looking for. We got Bloody Money, who says, Gedo is flipping off SP3, Josh, J News, and Sanal. He's flipping off all the New Japan fans.
I mean, not me. Do I like the move? Absolutely not. But I mean, I've seen worse this week, so kind of like I'm used to the bullshit. So it's like
Triple H got some competition for worst of the week this week, it seems. We got Nicky Boy.
That's kind of crazy. Last minute too. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's insane. That is insane.
Nicky Boy says, I feel like Stephen A. Smith. I'm having a very bad day. I am in no mood. And I literally just woke up. He woke up and he saw the news, saw the result. He didn't have to live through it. I had to live through that. I had to watch it in real time and be like, wait, no, that's it? Nah. That was House of Torture ringing the bell, right? Right? No. He's on what? He's unconscious? What? Tanahashi, Nicky Boy with another super chat donation. Thank you so much.
How to bring the ambulance. How to bring the ambulance for somebody.
Bringing the ambulance for somebody out there. Maybe Gedo. Maybe Gedo got shot down. Hopefully. Nicky Boy says Takeshita is literally our only hope. He's our only hope, our last hope. The only hope in pro wrestling right now is Takeshita. Yes, they need an AEW wrestler to save New Japan.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, he does have a New Japan contract too, so.
I mean, come on. He's AEW. He's more AEW than New Japan.
No, I mean, he is, but
he's more DDT than AEW and New Japan.
Oh, that's true. So I'm like, you're relying on the DDT guy. I mean, you're at least he's one of the best performers in the world, so that helps. So, but
he's got a contract with New Japan, but it's his third contract. It's definitely number 3 out of all of those priorities.
Definitely, it's just it's kind of cool to actually know that he's in the finals. But it's just I would have had the other guy at least in the finals and not Evil.
Anyone in the finals except for you. I would have took Shota Umino in the finals over Evil. Nicky Boy says, and I really was enjoying the tournament. I was protecting my peace by not watching the House of Torture matches, and now their leader is in the final. Fuck. Dion Jenkins says, I'm not familiar with Evil. Is he one of those and then the bell rings guys? Even worse, he's not good when the bell hasn't rung, and he's worse when the bell rings. His matches are, it's basically Evil, like watching an Evil matchup is like watching a Jeff Jarrett matchup in the early 2000s in TNA. It's like watching Hollywood Hulk Hogan at the peak of NWO getting involved in every single match he's been in. It's like the bad parts of the Roman bloodline 4-year run. Like all of those things combined and all put into one match. That is House of Torture. That is Evil. Evil is not good when the bell rings. He's not good when the second bell rings. It's just not good. And he shouldn't be in the G1 final when the G1 final is known for like having one of the best matches of the year. And we're not getting that this year.
Yeah. I mean, the silver lining is that at least his stable name matches what you just said when it comes to his in-ring work. So, yeah.
It is torture. It definitely is torture. Well, of course, we're going to start off with our usual, how we start off every edition of the flagship podcast with our Tru Heel roll call. Our top 3 conversation starters over on our Tru Heels group page, our Tru Heel Trinity. You got Jermaine Packman, you got Joe Bellini, and you got Stewie John Palmer. Patreon backers, you got our boy Negro Buck, who's in the chat. You got Volub, you got Professor Chris, Trey, Robert, Steve, Ladarius, John Martin, Dolores, James, Alan, Santo, Justin Ridge, and Chuck Berries. Thank you so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. We got our GOAT match series, which is up and running over there. Our recent episode watching Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland. You can see that over there. So go over and become a Patreon backer today. But let's get into what we missed. And we're going to start off last night with Friday Night SmackDown. The show featured Solo Sikoa and the MFTs kicking off the show with a promo about them invading Raw, but they were interrupted by Raw's own Sami Zayn, who not only announced that he has his intentions on the United States Championship, realizing that he can go after other titles he hasn't yet gotten outside of the world title. He doesn't have to be so distracted with that. So he is officially the newest member of the SmackDown roster and is coming after Solo and the MFTs for the U.S. Championship. The MFTs jumped Sami until Jimmy Uso, then Jacob Fatu made the save for Zayn here as the babyfaces stood tall. This led to Nick Aldis announcing that the main event would be Sami, Jimmy, and Jacob versus the MFTs in a trios main event. And this was won by the babyfaces. Sami Zayn for the second week in a row, picking up a victory over Solo Sikoa, pinning the United States champion as he stood tall with Jacob Fatu, who was a little bit apprehensive about teaming with Sami. He was convinced by Sami's performance here that they can be cool. Alexa Bliss picked up a win over Piper Niven. Post-match, Chelsea Green and the Secret Hervis laid out the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Mello Don't Miz made their return, and they beat Fraxium in a really good matchup after Miz stole the pin from his tag team partner to pick up the victory. Post-match and later on in the show, Mello Don't Miz versus Motor City Machine Guns was set up for next week. The Street Profits and DIY's matchup was watched by the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Wyatt Six. It was the Profits who picked up the win here in a fun tag team bout, getting some momentum, trying to get another opportunity at the WWE Tag Team Championships. And finally, Drew McIntyre addressed his attack on Cody Rhodes last week and how he once was Cody Rhodes. He was the WWE Champion. He was the Golden Boy, but he learned from it, and it's why he is who he is today. The attack on Cody last week was Cody's fault, according to McIntyre, and now that he has evolved, he wants the title for the paycheck and not for the fans. If he is provoked, he will be the real nightmare for Cody Rhodes. So he made it clear he is going after the WWE Championship. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Y'all know I'll keep it real, especially when it comes to SmackDown. This was another nothing happened SmackDown. Like I could just read you that description and you could tell right from there Nothing happened on this episode. Josh?
I mean, pretty much the same. I was just like, Just SmackDown, it was just kind of just feels like a chore at this point. Whereas like you're not really looking forward to anything exciting, anything big. Some of the Sammy stuff was cool, but it's like, it's not. It doesn't really do it that much for me. But I mean, he's doing something. At least he's not on the sidelines, But besides that, like Drew cutting the promo, obviously they had to build up to him versus Cody. Like the promo itself, I don't think was bad, but you already know where this is going. He ain't winning shit. But yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, that's how I felt about SmackDown. I was like, wasn't, it was like nothing, not the worst, but it's like, I could have probably taken a night off. I probably could have taken a night off.
I'd rather a bad episode than a boring one. That's the issue with SmackDown. SmackDown most weeks is not that it's a bad show always. Sometimes it really is. It's just overall, it's usually boring. So it's very hard to get through. It's very hard to get invested into anything. So yeah, it does feel like a chore, and it feels like going from 3 hours to 2 hours. It hasn't helped anything.
Yeah, and then the tag team match was actually really good. The Miz and Mello versus Fraxium. That was actually a really good match. It's just, I probably would have Fraxium win. That's just my personal take on that.
Gonna have Fraxium as Mello. They're pushing Mello, don't Miz for now.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, all right, I see what they're going, and then Miz stole the win. I see what they're going with it. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I kind of don't want it, but I mean, it's like if you guys want Mello, this is kind of what we're getting. This is kind of the best scenario for Mello at the moment. It is what it is at this point. It sucks. I want more for the kid, but we're not getting that NXT Mello. Especially not anytime soon, or probably ever.
No, they're doing this whole story with the Miz. That's how we're gonna use him. They heard the fans saying they want more Mello, but they didn't necessarily say what they want him in. So they're gonna do this story.
We want Mello. We want Mello. They started a movement. He was telling the fans to start a movement, and he's like, you know what? We're gonna keep you with the Miz. That's what we're gonna do.
Here we are. We do have a super chat donation here from Michael Allen Lewis. Thank you so much, Michael Allen Lewis, for the support. He says, guess NJPW wanted someone the crowd would boo versus Takeshita. I think that Tsuji might get cheered over Takeshita with a Japanese crowd right now. Tsuji was hot. Yeah, that's why if they don't want Tsuji to be against Takeshita, they want to save that matchup. They don't want Tsuji to lose a second straight final. Then just have him lose to Shoto and have Shota Umino beat Evil. And I'm guarantee you, Shota is going to get booed more than Takeshita in the final. Anyone but Tsuji would have gotten cheered. Takeshita's getting cheered over them. He got cheered over David Finlay, and they were behind David Finlay a lot during this tournament. It did not need to be Evil. There's no type of scenario that you can walk or talk yourself into to just be like, yeah, Evil's the right choice because they wanted someone the crowd was gonna boo. There is like 8 other people who is a better option for that than Evil. But here we are. They just insist upon himself that Evil and House of Torture always have to get pushed. They always have to be the top heel faction. I'm sick of this bullshit.
Yeah, and then also the way they book G1, I don't necessarily think they would book it based off of that. At least from the experience that I've seen the G1, I don't think the crowd thing they don't take that to really big consideration at times. I don't think that's what that was. I could see people trying to like see that, hey, this person might get booed and then this person will get. I understand that just because it is it is pro wrestling at the end of the day. It's just a different type of pro wrestling. But I don't think that was a factor at all. You know, you make one of your top guys lose just so this. I don't see it. That's just me. I don't know. It's definitely nothing else. It's not a good move. It's not a good move.
Another failure to put over the youth of New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was the tournament that you had to put over one of your young guys, and you just blew it. On the semifinals, not even the finals, the semifinals said, you know what? Nah, we're not going to do that. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's incompetence at its finest. It's nothing short but incompetent to do this many times with the youth movement in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They just will never get behind any of these guys, it seems like. And I don't understand why. Why does he hate them so much? Why?
He must have like a bounty over his head or something, because man, no.
See, I see conspiracy theories on freaking this one. I see, AO put Evil defeats Yota Tsuji in what is a baffling and inexcusable decision from the company to advance to the finals of the G1. I truly do not know what the thought process is here when Nate will ever pull the trigger on a young guy. It's impossible to invest in anyone in New Japan. Yes. Like, people are trying to put themselves into conspiracy theories, saying like, "Oh, it's he's hurt. He was hurt, so that's why he lost." No, this was going to be decision regardless. Regardless, this was going to be decision because this is who Gedo is.
Yeah, but I also wonder how the Japanese fans are taking it. Like, are they taking this well themselves, or you know what I mean? Because obviously, like the west side of the world, like the American fans, obviously everything I've seen has been panned universally. Nobody has liked this move so far. So from I've seen from social media, from Facebook, to X, us now talking about it, I have not seen one person liking this move. So I wonder how like the Japanese fans over there are taking it. Like, are they on board with it, or you know what I mean? Like, because the reason why I'm asking this is because like I wonder what's Gedo's thought process where he does certain things where it's like, yeah, he could have the ball rolling, but then there's times he makes like really weird bad decisions where it's just like, where are we going with this? Or like, it makes me wonder, like, what's his thought process with this? Like, why do you do the things that you do? Are you doing it based off of what the Japanese fans are into? Why? Whatever the case may be, I don't know. Because this is kind of it's a weird move, in my opinion. And to me, it doesn't even matter like who's in the because they're going to get it. To me, it doesn't even matter when it comes to that. Your whole aspect is to put the best matches possible, the best card possible, the best matchups possible. And if you would have had the best match, like even with Konosuke winning, that would have been a great finals, in my opinion. But now you kind of just, you took a giant dump in the middle of the ring, and you gave us this. I mean, granted, it's the finals, but it's like you should have been excited, like Yuta Tsuji should have been. It's already at a point where it's like this guy should have already been champion, and it's like, how long are you going to keep waiting? How long are you gonna keep waiting?
They should have crowned Tsuji when he came back in 2023. They didn't do that.
2 years.
Instead, they did a Sonata. They wanted to continue a Sonata reign that set up a Tetsuya Naito reign that then set up a Zack Sabre Jr. reign and Hiroki Goto reign. So you literally don't want to push anyone, or at least unless they're over the age of 35. Like, you're never going to give it to this youth movement. Like, this was a bad kind of indictment of the youth and the young stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The fact that it's up to Evil in the final or an AEW wrestler. You're making the crowd root for the AEW wrestler to not only win the G1, but to prove he is much better than everyone in your youth movement. I don't think that's the message that you want to send out. That is TNA booking at its finest. Like,
No,
we're gonna put over Trick Williams in our big tournament of the year.
Like, damn. But it's like it's even like, you know, it's kind of crazy that we speak, because like, you know, like I said before, you know, Konosuke is one of the best in the world. But again, your whole aspect is to push not only your younger guys in the company, but you got to push your guys. Like, this is your guys. You got to push them, and you know, in general. But I don't know, like, you know, even if you're pushing like younger talent, right? That was the whole aspect. When you lost Okada, when you lost Ospreay, you should have been pushing younger talent, right? Because you're in a state where you lost your top gaijin, then you lost like one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. You lost him, so it was like you needed to do something. In which I'll give them credit, he was doing some things that I was like, oh shit, you know, New Japan's been good to watch. But then you do shit like this, and then you just remember all the bad stuff that is like going on, and like that's what sucks about this move. Because it's not like it's not only a move that it's like it's weird, but then it's like it brings you it gives you like PTSD, where it's like, oh fuck, like this man really tends to really fuck up at the worst time.
Also, it also doesn't make any sense with the story of the tournament, where you build Takeshita as this outsider that should have been like the number 2 or number 1 heel in the whole tournament, and then turn around, he's the full-on babyface going into the final. Just doesn't make any sense. But you know, we started a conversation about SmackDown and wound it up going back to the G1. That's how much SmackDown excited us last night.
That's how upsetting it is too. That's how upsetting it is. It's like, I mean, that's how bad SmackDown was, but then there's also just very upsetting.
Also, yeah, it's that part is what I'm leaning towards. Is that SmackDown was so bad that we got to keep talking about T1, because at least Gedo's decision was so horrible. We have to talk about it. There was just nothing good or bad about last night's SmackDown. It was just
there.
It was a boring show. Sami Zayn's the newest member of the SmackDown roster. He pinned Solo Sikoa for the second week in a row. Drew McIntyre cut a promo. Did not tell us when he's getting a shot at the WWE title. That's the show. Everything else, you really didn't need to watch it. You really didn't need to watch it. Some teasing for setup for some stuff, sure. But is it something that's kind of like you have to talk about it right here, right now? No, this was a missable show, and you'll probably see the recap next week on next week's show, and next week will probably be the important one, since that's the go home ahead of Clash in Paris. Which SmackDown, I think SmackDown only has one match, and it's the Cena and Logan Paul match going into that.
Yeah, and then, you know, Cena's not even SmackDown, so it was like, is that even considered a SmackDown?
I mean, technically he is. He's been on SmackDown the most, at least.
Who? Cena? Or
yeah, Cena.
Yeah, because isn't Logan Paul on Raw?
He was, but apparently he doesn't like Raw. He likes SmackDown more.
What the what's going on?
Did all that for nothing.
The SmackDown shit doesn't even matter. Like none of this roster shit even matters at this point. So even when they say, "Oh, I'm gonna be on the," it don't matter, bro. You're gonna.
I guess it was a trade for LA Knight, since LA Knight's on Raw all the time and no explanation.
Oh, that's true. But it's like, even with that, it's like none of this shit matters anymore.
We got a super chat donation here from our boy Chuck Berries. Thank you so much, Chuck Berries, for the support. He says, question for you guys. Would it make some sort of sense if they announced that Raw SmackDown agreed to a trade for Sammy and LA Knight? And yes, last night and all this week was very lackluster for WWE as a whole. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think that I liked NXT the most this week. At least NXT stuff happened. Not important stuff, but stuff happened. Like SmackDown and Raw this week, Raw stuff happened, but a lot of the stuff that didn't happen were more newsworthy than the stuff that actually did happen. how strange that sounds, but we'll get into Raw in a bit here. But yeah, they could do that. That's an easy explanation to be like, LA Knight's officially a Raw guy, and that was the trade for Sami Zayn. You also got Logan Paul in the mix. You could say he's the trade for it's Logan Paul and Sami Zayn for LA Knight, or you do LA Knight and Roman Reigns to Monday Night Raw for Sami Zayn and Logan Paul.
Damn, that's such a damn. That would be such one of the most mid trades I've ever heard.
That's actually a good trade if for Raw. Raw,
you know what I'm saying?
Raw got off one of their like
that's
upper mid card baby face.
That's a fleece.
A fringe main event heel for the top star in the company.
Yeah,
that's the Luka Doncic trade.
That's what to say. Like, yo, that's a fleece. Adam Pearce actually did something good.
Don't do that. Don't do that to my boy Nick Aldis. Don't do that. Don't make him look stupid. But
Nick he's done more good than bad, so I'll give him that. But it's like, damn, bro, like you traded Roman Reigns. Like you were better off not saying it. Just don't mention it. Like it never happened. Don't say it.
They could make some sort of sense there. We also got a super chat donation once again from Michael Allen Lewis. Thank you so much, Michael, for the support. He says, "Do you think they just don't believe in Tsuji?" I think that they don't believe in any of their young guys. Like this is just too many times of them doing this shit. Of we're gonna get them close, but then we're gonna pull the rug out from under them. Oh, Shota Umino, he's going to win the IWGP United States Championship against Will Ospreay. Pull the rug out from under him. Oh, Yota Tsuji just came back. He's getting a big push. He's facing Sonata for the IWGP title. Pull the rug out from under him. He makes it to the finals of the G1 last year. Pull the rug out from under him. Zack wins. Like, it's just time and time again. It's too many times. Kosei Fujita wins the Best of Super Juniors tournament. Then loses to El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So it's not just the heavyweight future stars that they don't want to push and they don't believe in. They don't believe in any of their young guys. It's just too many instances. They have jobbed out Shota Umino to the point that he's viewed as a loser and a joke. Ren Narita has been jobbed out so many times. He's just a useless House of Torture member now. And he's not the big star that he could have been if they actually pushed him. Yuya Uemura is lucky that he's had the shortest amount of time since his excursion and coming back, or they would have jobbed him out to death. But he didn't make it to the playoffs of the G1 this year, and he was like one of the best performers of the whole entire tournament. Yota Tsuji, this was his year. This was do or die for not just Tsuji, but for New Japan Pro Wrestling in general in regards to crowning one of their young guys, and they failed again in spectacular fashion. This is inexcusable.
It sounds like he has the yips. Yeah, it sounds like he has the yips, Gedo, like because it's kind of one of those things where, you know, at some point, again, it's one of like I said before, you know, like. The whole point of when you lost these guys, when you lost your top stars, the whole point was to push the young guys. And it's like, you're not even doing that because even Okada, when Okada was with the company, Okada not only was being pushed, he was being used, but he accomplished a lot before 30 years old. So it's like, you're not even trying. I don't know what it is. I don't know what, I don't know, man. It feels like he gets these young kids at these big spots, and then it's like he gets cold feet. That's how it comes off. Yeah. It's like, why don't you just push the trigger? Just fucking do it. See where it goes. If it fails, it fails, but at least you did it, right? At least you tried. When you just don't try, that's when it makes it look worse. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things where, you know, you have a lot of good talent in New Japan. It's not like they don't have the roster. They've been, you know, a lot of these guys could work, right? So to me, this is not like a WWE kind of thing where it's like, oh no, you know, he's going to be the face of the company. Oh no, this person, you know, it's like you guys can make a bunch of guys world champions and see where it goes. You don't need to do this weird shit And that's why people are being turned off by it, because it's just you have the tools, you have the young talent. This is what you wanted, and then now it's like you're reverting back to like really bad habits, and it shouldn't be. You're at a point where this shouldn't be going on again. When you lost your top guys, you lost your top draws. Like, this shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate what New Japan is doing, and it's becoming harder to justify. Like, it would justify investing in New Japan at this point with how they treat the young guys. Nutty, he says, which show is better, SmackDown or Collision? Collision by far.
Collision's not even close. What question is that?
It's not even close. I don't even think that's a proper question. I think that the real question is, which show is better for WWE, SmackDown or Evolve or LFG? Like, one of the lower tier shows, those are actually more consistent than SmackDown as of yet. We got a super chat donation here from Dion Jenkins. Thank you so much, Dion, for the support. He says, when is the last time y'all think both Raw / SmackDown were consistently good? I say 2016. 2023. 2023 was probably the last time that SmackDown and Raw was good, because they were spreading out the bloodline stuff where it just wasn't on SmackDown. It was also on Raw. Plus, you had the whole rise of the Judgment Day, and they got into a really nice flow of Judgment Day as the centerpiece heel faction versus all these big time baby faces with like Cody and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, those guys versus like the Judgment Day every week on Raw, made Raw a much better show. And then over on SmackDown, you had the Bloodline drama, which was still it was towards the tail end of the Bloodline drama being, great, but still they had through like the summer of 2023 where SmackDown was the good show to watch, because you were getting all the big moments between the Bloodline. So I would say 2023 is the last time they were both good.
They consistently say, yeah, I would have to agree, just because Raw, when they had Judgment Day, obviously it was kind of a different feel for me when it came to Judgment Day. But the reason why it worked with Judgment Day is because not only they got to a point where they became presentable, because it took a while. It took a while for them to even be like taken seriously. Once they started getting the flow of things, once things started coming together, they were used a lot too. Like, how many segments on Raw they were being used for? Sometimes those little things matter too, right?
Yeah.
So that's what made it matter as well. And then now it's kind of like we're not really getting that, even with like certain wrestlers. Like, you don't see them multiple segments at most. You'll see like maybe like 2, not even 3 max. Like, you'll see him like towards the end. They don't show him for the whole show. Then he'll come out for a run out and then get his ass whooped. And it's like, all right, this is what we got with Punk. All right, cool. You know what I mean? Like, you're not even featuring Punk a lot on the show itself. And then Seth Rollins, like you'll probably see him like twice. You'll see them cut a promo and then come out for the match later on. That's all you really do. There's no sense of like, backstage segments or anything to make it really kind of make it feel important, make it matter.
Or they had the backstage segment like they did on this week's Raw, which gave away what was going to happen at the end. I hated that so much. So here we are. So yeah, the SmackDown, it's not a good show. It's just not. But WWE is not so busy with making a great episode of SmackDown. They're not busy with making a great episode of Monday Night Raw. You know what they're really busy about? Busy about trying to fuck over AEW. So let's talk about it. This week, a lot of news was made by WWE in their latest efforts to undermine and take down All Elite Wrestling. Since the beginning of 2024, WWE and TNA have been working together under a partnership that has allowed talent to appear across both brands. Speculation about a new media rights deal for TNA has intensified lately, especially with talk that TNA Impact could end up airing directly opposite AEW Dynamite on Wednesday night. According to a new report, TNA is open to moving to Wednesday nights opposite AEW Dynamite as part of its media rights negotiations. John Alba reports for Sports Illustrated that the company has had discussions of potentially moving to a WWE associated network, and that the company is open to shifting its show from Thursday nights to Wednesday nights, where it would go head-to-head with AEW Dynamite. The report notes a report from a couple of weeks ago by Dave Meltzer that the CW has interest in TNA, and that is legitimate, and that some stakeholders in WWE would like TNA to have a home at the CW. The report makes it clear that it was not directly indicated that the CW would be TNA's destination, that it isn't clear how far talks have gone beyond the fact that nothing has been signed as of yet. While TNA is not owned by WWE, the two sides have been working together over 2025 in an official capacity following an informal relationship that began late last year. The CW is currently the home for WWE NXT on Tuesdays. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that insights from WWE insiders suggesting that the partnership may include some significant provisions. According to Meltzer, the agreement between WWE and TNA resembles past arrangements WWE has proposed to European promotions like WXW, OTT, Progress, and Rev Pro. At that time, WWE offered to feature European talent on its shows, and in return, the promotions would provide event footage for the WWE network. Those deals, which were accepted by all but Rev Pro, also included a window during which WWE had the option to buy out the promotions. While this doesn't confirm that WWE plans to purchase TNA, Meltzer suggests that the current deal might include a similar clause. Adding another twist, there are rumors that former UFC executive Lorenzo Fertitta is also eyeing a potential acquisition of TNA Wrestling. WWE is believed to hold the right to match any upcoming offer or incoming offer for TNA, though nothing has been finalized just yet. Meltzer doubts that WWE would actually go through with acquiring TNA, seeing little strategic value in owning the promotion outright. However, he notes that it could be beneficial for WWE if a cooperative third party like Lorenzo purchased TNA and positioned it as a direct competitor to AEW. With strong ties to WWE and the prospect of a solid TV deal, TNA might become a more attractive investment. Meltzer concludes by suggesting that while WWE likely can't eliminate AEW, there are influential voices within WWE and TKO who would prefer to see AEW drop to third place behind a WWE-aligned TNA. So what do you think, Josh, about this whole mess of a report that WWE wants to use TNA in a proxy war with AEW and potentially TNA moving to Wednesday nights to go head-to-head with Dynamite?
I think it's pretty pathetic at this point. It's like you're trying to use TNA to I mean, it's funny. It's pathetic, but it's funny because it's just like TNA trying to use TNA. Like, really? This is what we're doing at this point. Like, it's just. I mean, I want to say, hey, this is surprising or anything, but all this does for me is confirm that this partnership was always a bunch of bullshit. It was never anything more than what it was going to be WWE's game. This proves it. This proves that, not only TNA is in bed with WWE, but you know, they also got the cuck chair. This is all that proves, because it's like anything remotely related to WWE that's attached to TNA, to me, it's not going to matter. It's not going to, for me, at least personally, when it comes to TNA, of people trying to see it as, oh, this is going to help TNA. This is going to grow TNA. When you need WWE, none of that shit matters anymore. Why? Because it's going to be WWE produced. At that moment, you lose your soul. There's no soul of TNA after that. All it's going to prove is that TNA never could have gotten over on their own. They always need somebody else to try to put them over. This is all that's going to do. And then the moment that you have TNA become WWE Light, none of it matters anymore, because it's just another WWE produced show. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I would have loved to see TNA get big. I would have loved to see TNA, you know, grow as a brand. You know, it's been around for so long that, you know, they should have been some, you know, they shouldn't be where they're at now, right at the moment, because they've been around for so long. But here we are. So again, these things, it's just going to prove, you know, what I felt the whole time, how I felt about this partnership. It really wasn't a partnership. It was just more of WWE trying to get their way, even possibly purchasing TNA. Because even at the moment, that even if WWE ends up purchasing TNA, it's gone. TNA is dead. They're not going to keep TNA. They're going to take their library. They're going to take some talents, and that's it. It's dead. They're not going to produce another brand show. I know people were like suggesting that. I'm like, come on, guys. We already got NXT. You got Evolve already. What is there you're going to add TNA for? There's nothing to add. Then you already have AAA, which you're targeting the Mexican, you know, demographic. You know, you're still trying to do the Europe stuff. So what are you going to do with TNA to begin with? And it just comes off like the way that you're trying to use them to try to like, hey, we're going to use this to try to take AEW out of business. I'm like, you know, TNA, like you're using TNA. Like, did you watch the show from last night? Like, this is what we're trying to compete with. Like, because the product itself is not that great to compare to AEW. You're gonna die if you try to go head to head with AEW. You're not gonna do well. So no. It's like by itself, like what we're getting with TNA right now, you're gonna die. So it's like, why are you gonna try this? It's just WWE's way. They're using a ploy. They're trying to do less work possible to try to make themselves look worse by taking out AEW, but it still makes them look bad. Like, it still makes them look bad, especially this kind of agreement. Oh, that if anybody wants to buy them, we have say in it. Why does another company say in your like purchase, like a possible sale? That's weird. I mean, obviously I know why they're doing it, but it's still fucking weird.
Yeah, and basically, if TNA goes to like CW, you are basically saying that you are owned by WWE. You're going to a WWE affiliated network. You don't have to have it be an official purchase. And it's crazy that after Slammiversary, we did a whole segment of the show talking about, is WWE going to buy TNA? And then all this happened. And then the UFC executive, Lorenzo Fratella, getting involved. He's TKO. When that was the name that they brought up, I was like, oh man, they are becoming so obvious with what they're doing at this point. Like, yeah, because Lorenzo, obvious. Yeah. They can have like kind of this obliviousness and not a lack of self-awareness and be like, oh, you know, they're still not competition to us. We're not doing anything directly, but we're going to talk about, you know, their counter programming that they plan on doing with the PLEs. Yeah. But this one more than anything is just open. Like, wow, you are that threatened by AEW. You are that threatened that you rather another company, at least that you're owned by, that you're owning or you're aligned with or partner with, you rather they be number two than those guys. You are that threatened by what AEW is doing that you want to shut them down and stop them as fast as possible.
Yeah, to me, it's just crazy, and it's like, you know, because even if you go to the morale aspect of it, it's like, damn, you're trying to have people like lose their livelihoods. You know, you're trying to take out another company, and it's kind of crazy because in the wrestling business, you don't need to take out another company. Like, you don't need to do this. Like WWE, you're already successful as it is because of your brand itself. So it's like, you don't need to do this. We could have alternatives. We could have, like, you know, and to me that makes the business even better because we still have options. Like, if TNA was still around, TNA is still a good spot for wrestlers who want to stick out. If they feel like they might not be a top star in AEW, they might not be a top star in WWE, TNA is a good spot because one, they could grow as a talent and they raise their stock. So then when it's time for them to move up or to finally make that big move, that's more money in their pocket. That's why TNA, them is still existing. That's why it's a good move. Like, you know, somebody like Mike Santana, you know, he went back to TNA, and then now WWE is interested in him. That's good for him. Like, that's good for talent themselves, you know. Drew Galloway, you know, when he went back, you know, he went to TNA. I mean, when it was Impact, he built up stock and he came back. Drew McIntyre came back, you know, built his stock. So these are good things, like, you know, when it comes to you know, when it comes to these companies. And then again, like AEW, obviously AEW, they focus on a different demographic of wrestling fans. You know, WWE has already made it clear they're not a wrestling business. AEW is a wrestling business. So they target a different demographic of fans. And AEW, what they've been doing well is that, you know, they were harboring on to like trying to be like the second coming of WWE in a way, like in 2023, 2022, 2023, that it actually hurt their business because it's like, you guys are going away from what you were. Like, you're going away from, you know, being a wrestling business and, you know, your whole aspect of, oh, you're trying to gain new fans, you're trying to do this. It's like sometimes you just need to be good at what you do. AEW exists is because we wanted an alternative of wrestling that when we watch it, we enjoy it because of the matches. People still enjoy matches, regardless of what Bully Ray wants to fucking convince us. I prefer my wrestling shows to have great matches. I don't give a fuck. You can have great storylines, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I still care about the wrestling. That's what AEW brings to the table. So when you're trying to monopolize everything, how is that good for business? We lived through that already, and it wasn't good.
They don't care. They have their own kind of narrative and agendas when it comes to this, where they're between contracts and everything else. But, you know, a lot of people in the chat are hitting it right on the nose. Like Michael Allen Lewis, he said you would think that AEW was pulling 3 million viewers per Dynamite. He says the way that Triple Heat is bugging out. We also got Chuck Berries who says, and just like that, we go from the evil conspiracy theory to the evil empire in WWE. SMH. Clown says WWE talks TNA into moving into Wednesday. TNA's ratings plummet, causing the price of the company to drop, and now WWE can buy them for pennies on the dollar. Yes, this is all a plot for WWE to just eventually own TNA. They're putting them up against it, and they know that they're not going to win that Wednesday night war against AEW Dynamite. But if they can take 10% of their audience, if they could take 5% of their audience, they are pleased. If they drop from nowadays they get anywhere between 600 to 700,000 on TBS. If that drops down to 500, maybe 400,000, that's a win for WWE.
Yeah, because they're trying to hurt their next TV deal.
Yeah,
you know, because AEW is making a profit. They're making a profit because of this. Not only this, the TV deal, they're making a profit off of it, and that's what they were. Which is like, you guys don't need to be afraid of what. Like, you're You're getting $5 billion off of Netflix. You're getting 1.6 billion from the PLEs next year, like starting next year, the next 5 years. You guys are already making bank. That is like, the AEW's TV deal is a great number deal, but it's like it's not close to what WWE is getting. And I don't know, it's just a weird tactic. It's more of the suits in the company. It's more the corporate TKO kind of ish suits in the company that probably feel more threatened than anything. Like, do I think if WWE's if it was on its own, like before TKO existed, do I think this is a move they do? Probably not.
Frantic World says exactly what the AEW needs to do. He says if AEW keeps ignoring WWE and TNA and focus on themselves, it won't be a problem for them. 100% agree with that. We also got MCATS who says WWE does realize that TK is a billionaire, right? But I will give WWE some props because they have almost every network covered. AEW is pretty much stuck with Warner Brothers. Yeah, and if they don't have it on lock, UFC has it on lock, which is all under the TKO umbrella. And UFC this week they announced that they have the new deal with Paramount Plus. So they've locked down every kind of streaming source that would be available for some sort of like combat sports, where now AEW, they're only forced into Warner's and HBO Max to kind of stay with their content for now.
Or Amazon.
Well, they already got their pay-per-views on Amazon. That's not really spreading it out either. So I don't know. We're gonna
as in like an aspect of like streaming services, or there could be maybe some certain like opt-out clauses, because like the UFC deal, it's a big deal, but it's like realistically, I'm just like $1 billion a year to produce UFC events. I'm like, it's a good deal for them.
Paramount's gonna go bankrupt with that deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not a good deal for Paramount.
No. I mean, it's a good deal for UFC.
Yeah,
it's not so much a good deal for Paramount, because I'm just like, UFC has cost a debt in TKO, and I'm just like, you're banking $1 billion a year to produce the show. UFC is already struggling perception wise. They're already been struggling in that aspect. So I'm like, to give them $1 billion a year, I'm just like, oh boy, I don't know. I really don't know.
So what do you think? Do you think that before the end of 2025, will we see TNA get a new media rights deal and go head to head with Dynamite? If we're doing like the 0 to 100, I'm gonna go as high as like an 85%. I think it's happening. I think this is what they're doing. They have turned up the heat. They were pussyfooting around it and basically going into this whole strategy of counter programming AEW, kind of in a coward's way of, we'll counter program them. We'll throw out whatever NXT show that we can do. And they got their ass handed to them back-to-back months, with Double or Nothing going against Battleground and then All In going against Great American Bash. And, we're going to talk about what they're doing to counteract All Out, but they were counteracting Forbidden Door next weekend with Heatwave. This is them taking it to the next level between counter programming with possibly with a main roster PLE, and then also throwing a secondary promotion to try to put y'all down. They're trying to take y'all down a peg before your next media rights deal. I don't know what new information came up, but this is them putting up the full court press on AEW now.
Yeah, and honestly, man, this just like my guy John Escudero said it, this is gonna make Carlos Silva more incompetent than Dixie Carter. And it's more because he's blind. You're being played like a fucking fool, and you just don't see it. Like, you really don't fucking see it. You think like this is great for TNA. You're killing TNA by doing this.
Yes, it is sad but true. She said she's ready, but she's still driving. But I'll put her on because she said she's ready. The princess of all the Tru Heels, Miss Krssi Luv. How are you doing? We can't even hear you. See, she says she's ready, and we can't even hear you. You're driving.
Oh no! She's like, man, look good. I like the reactions. You see, like you kind of know what's being said, but you still don't know, and you see the reactions.
Exactly. This is great. I need our producer to work on the editing, and we could just have her just randomly saying stuff. You could just put in different sound bites.
This is so funny. Yeah, actually came out. I was like, you know what? You can't hear me. Fuck.
She said, "Damn it! I waited all this time, and I can't even." She was in the background for a while too for this whole conversation.
All you see is that's all you saw.
Damn it. But yes, let's talk more about WWE's full court press on AEW, as WWE is set to add a premium live event on the same day as AEW All Out next month, September 20th. A report from Post Wrestling has gave this week. The report reads, it doesn't specify if the WWE PLE will run head-to-head with AEW All Out or a specific time it will begin. AEW All Out will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. The WWE PLE will take place in Indianapolis, Indiana. They're thinking about the Cambridge Fieldhouse, which is where WWE is running recent events, while AEW All Out is set for Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The event was confirmed this week with it taking place there, and it will be WWE Over the Limit making a return, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's exactly what we needed. This will be the first time that a WWE PLE and an AEW pay-per-view will take place on the same day. WWE has previously run NXT events on the same day as AEW Double or Nothing, AEW All in Texas, and AEW / New Japan's Forbidden Door. The WWE PLE will be one of several WWE events in Indiana, with Raw on September 22nd, set for Evansville, and Triple H speaking at TED Sports in Indianapolis on September 9th and 10th and the 11th. The SmackDown prior to the PLE will also take place in nearby Toledo, Ohio on September 19th. Dave Meltzer reported more details on the upcoming WWE PLE, specifically a huge match for the event featuring John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. According to Meltzer, the scheduled main event for the WWE PLE on September 20th will be Cena versus Lesnar. Meltzer noted that Lesnar isn't wrestling at Clash in Paris because he's going to be headlining the September PLE against Cena instead. Meltzer stated on Lesnar, they had wanted him for this show and not for the Paris show, and that's where Logan Paul got the gig. First up, John Cena is scheduled to face his rival Logan Paul at Clash in Paris on Sunday, August 31st. Brock Lesnar recently made a shocking return to WWE at SummerSlam, where he laid out Cena following his loss to Cody Rhodes. Dave Meltzer reports in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that as of now, the two shows will go head-to-head, which suggests that the WWE's PLE will take place in the evening. As noted, Brock Lesnar is now scheduled for the September 12th and 19th editions of SmackDown to build up to this show, and he will be on the lead up for the September 20th PLE. Meltzer adds that WWE adding the September 20th PLE so late makes it harder for Tony Khan to move AEW All Out to earlier in the day, adding that having to go head-to-head with a match as big as Cena versus Lesnar will likely hurt AEW. If AEW does move All Out to an earlier time, WWE could still counter by putting a NXT event in the afternoon, as they did go head-to-head with AEW All in Texas on July 12th, after AEW moved All in Texas from its evening start time to an afternoon start time to avoid direct competition from WWE Saturday night's main event. Meltzer also noted that Nick Khan and Triple H seem to care a lot more about AEW than Vince McMahon did, as counter-programming AEW has become common under Khan and Triple H. So what do you think about this latest coup from WWE and Triple H, and we have more. Because this is just the start, apparently, of main roster or big main roster shows going against WWE against AEW pay-per-views this year. But what do you think about this move? Basically putting one of your biggest matches of the year in Brock versus John Cena against an AEW pay-per-view, which regardless of how people feel about Brock Lesnar, regardless of how people felt about John Cena's heel turn, that matchup is going to hurt the buy rate number for AEW regardless.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think it's one of those things where I'll wait and see if it does. Because, I mean, realistically, these people, even if you have both or you like both or you enjoy both, how do you say? You can still watch like it on demand. Like you can still watch on demand. So it's not like you have to watch live. It's not a thing that you have to watch live. But again, this is just me speaking as a wrestling fan. It's like with AEW All Out, I'm probably getting a better pay-per-view quality show, overall quality show. With WWE, obviously they're gonna push the Brock versus Cena thing. At the same time, it's like it's a Brock Lesnar match in 2025. So you know what you're getting. You're getting two moves. You're getting two moves from the guy. You're getting the German suplexes. Everyone's going to say suplex city. You know, people are going to get hyped over that. And then the F5. That's all you're getting from Brock. It's a match I don't need to. It's a match I don't need to see live. At least from my perspective. You know, when that time comes, when All Out happens, am I going to pay for All Out? Yes. Am I going to watch All Out when it's live? Yes. Am I going to watch the other show? Eventually. Maybe after, like on demand. I don't need to watch it. It's not a must for me. If people feel like that's a must for them, hey, kudos to you. You know, you're getting hype over Cena versus Brock in 2025. And that's cool. You could get hype over that. I choose not to. Because I still watch it later. So it's not, to me, it's not that big of a deal when it comes to that. But, you know, again, there are fans that feel like they probably need to watch it. Oh, you know, because Cena's Brock Lesnar's last time wrestling all this stuff. But again, if you already have the net, you already had Peacock, you can watch it later. There's no need to watch it live unless you're trying to beat social media and all this stuff. Stay off of social media then for the time being until you watch it. You don't want to see spoilers. Go ahead. But who cares about spoilers these days? Who cares about that stuff? Because it's going to get anywhere anyway. So it's like you can't hide from it. But if you choose to do that, you could choose to do that. But it's one of those things where now it just comes off. It's kind of funny where it comes off desperate, right?
Yeah.
It comes off very desperate for no reason. Because it's like you guys don't need to be desperate, for one. You don't need to be desperate. You're already doing great business. But then it's like you have these pro WWE apologist fans who say like, hey, you know, AEW wants to be competition. This is what they're getting. This is all that they're trying to defend it while ignoring the fact that WWE has never taken AEW as competition. Every opportunity they've spoken about AEW, they didn't consider them competition. They laughed about it. They did every scenario to put them down. And then now they're the ones counter programming. You don't see AEW counter programming them. You don't see that. You know, from the hairs, you know, like it's just it's funny, you know. And then even when this whole thing happened where people started bringing up the whole NXT stuff. Oh, AEW originally was trying to counter program NXT to be in the beginning, and it's just like, no, that's not what happened. AEW was already getting a TV deal. They did it on Wednesdays because they didn't want to be in competition with the NBA because they were on the same network. NXT was a network show for an hour. It wasn't live. They taped their shows one night. They split it into 4, you know? So it wasn't like a live entity where it's like, oh my God, they're taking viewership. No, because you could still watch it on demand. You could still do this stuff. You could still do that. The only reason NXT even got into TV deals because that's when WWE decided to, hey, let's put NXT as a direct competition to AEW because if WWE truly wanted a TV deal for NXT, they would have done it a long time ago. They would have done it back in 2016. They would have done it in 2017. They would have done it in 2018. The 3 years where NXT was probably the hottest, that it was the hottest thing in WWE. They had every
wrestling to a lot of people,
and in wrestling, even especially the takeovers, because even their shows, the weekly shows, they were okay, but they're nothing to write home about. It was always the takeovers that mattered. That's what made NXT was their takeovers. But the fact is that you had 3 years, maybe even close to 4 years. You had 3.5 years to get a TV deal for NXT. You didn't bother to get a TV deal until AEW existed, until AEW got their TV deal. And then you basically ruined NXT. And you ruined it because you started hot shot booking. You took away what made NXT special by putting takeover matches on TV. And then you know, it suffered, you know, NXT suffered from it to the point that they had to rebrand NXT. And they've gone through like 3 makeovers ever since.
It's true. And they're just doing it now on a bigger scale. They're doing it on the main roster where they're hot-shotting a potential Brock Lesnar versus John Cena matchup. And I understand what you're coming from. I even see people in the chat who doesn't think it's going to hurt at all. Like Batman Bats, he thinks it's not going to hurt at all. It is. Like, regardless of what y'all think, like, it is going to hurt the AEW, or regardless of if it's pay-per-view buy rate number, whether it's the Google trends, business-wise, probably stats that y'all don't care about because you're AEW fans or you like AEW more than WWE. You will just ignore all of that and just go off what you're feeling, how you feel. No,
that's how I feel. Yeah.
If you prefer AEW over WWE, no, Brock Lesnar in his 50s versus Brock Lesnar in his late 40s versus John Cena in his late 40s in 2025 is not going to convince you to not watch AEW All Out. But it is going to do that for a certain percentage of fans. And to be fair to just insulting them for doing 2 guys in their late 40s facing each other, AEW's big draw for All Out was going to be 2 50-year-olds reuniting. So to be fair,
and for me, it was more of speaking for myself. Like I could see it getting hurt because of that, but my comments was more from myself. It's just like, I choose to do that. There are a lot of fans who are gonna feel like they need to watch Cena versus Lesnar live. I'm like, again, more power to you if that's what you want to do. More power to you. But then it's like, this is part of the reason where, you know, like, you're the same guys that are frustrated with WWE doing bullshit like this, and then they're making you tune in. They're doing what you said you were gonna do. And it happened, I remember, last night, somebody that was replying to my stories from a couple of days ago, they're saying how they're starting to hate WWE. They're doing this. And yet, this motherfucker had floor seats for WWE last night. So I'm just like, what?
You can't listen to these people. These people,
I was like, what are you doing?
Out of both sides of their mouth.
Yo, and I called them out on it yesterday. I was just like, what happened, bro? I was like, you buying floor seats for a mid-ass show? What the fuck? I called it out yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't apologize to me, bro. Apologize to your bank account. Apologize to your bank account for spending your money on that bullshit."
But you think you got enough WWE versus AEW?
Wait,
there's more. As previously reported, AEW Worlds End was scheduled for the Now Arena in Chicago on December 27th. Now it looks like WWE might be looking to schedule John Cena's last match against AEW World's End on December 27th, according to Brian Alvarez on Wednesday's Wrestling Observer Live. According to Alvarez, Cena's last match was originally scheduled for early December at WWE Saturday Night's Main Event. However, Alvarez reports that there are discussions taking place that the date of Cena's last match will be moved and to go head-to-head against AEW World's End. Dave Meltzer expanded on the topic on Thursday's edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, indicating that there are talks of moving the date of Cena's last match from December 13th to December 27th. Meltzer reported that is certainly the story that is going around, that they wanted to move from December 13th to December 27th. Meltzer indicated that WWE is pushing to block AEW from getting a more lucrative media rights deal, and that WWE wants to position TNA Wrestling as the second biggest promotion since they control TNA. He continued, given all the actions and everything that has been done, I mean, of course they want to, but it isn't the only thing. There is so much going on that will probably be breaking in the next couple of months when it comes to different things. But they really want TNA to become the other promotion because they can control TNA. This is a major full court press. He also explained about WWE wanting to hurt AEW's chances of a new media rights deal for the company and block them from a new renewal deal that's even higher than their latest one, which they announced last October. Meltzer added, they just want this guy, Tony Khan, out of the box. And they know that if the numbers stay good, that he's going to get a renewal at a much bigger number, just like they did, and a number that will make him, and he's already very profitable, but even more. The number will make AEW incredibly profitable, and they can never get away from him or anything like that. So they feel the need to make sure that this is the last contract. Andrew Baydali has some more details on the situation, reporting that WWE has been considering 2 dates for Cena's final match, December 13th and 27th, and that the NFL and NBA are factors in the decision. Baydala notes that NBCU will be streaming the NFL Saturday night primetime game between the Ravens and Packers on December 27th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. So a December 27th Saturday night's main event on NBC or Premium Live event would go head-to-head with NBC's own exclusive NFL game. In the case of a PLE, the NFL game and WWE PLE would be streaming at the same time on Peacock. WWE's original plan of December 13th has hit a snag as well, because it's possible that the Boston Celtics will be playing on December 12th. The exact scheduling depends on how the NBA Cup goes the night before, which would mean WWE would not be able to host that Friday SmackDown at TD Garden. WWE would prefer to host the December 12th SmackDown as well as the December 13th Saturday night's main event or PLE at TD Garden. This has contributed to December 27th being the favorite at the moment, since TD Garden is available on December 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th, given WWE and the city of Boston's flexibility to potentially host multiple WWE events that week. This would be the extreme of, we don't fucking like you, and we're going to do everything we can to destroy you if they decide to put John Cena's last match against World's End. You know, there are basically logistics that's making this a viable possibility, but you know that the number one reason is they are trying to counter program AEW Worlds End. Not the primary interest being we want John Cena to go out in a big way, in a big moment on a big show. No, they are using that to go against their competition, or the people they like to not call competition. That is outrageous. That I feel like that's slightly disrespectful to John Cena and his final match for it to be used in that way. What do you think?
I do agree. I think it's one of those things where, you know, you promoted this whole thing for a year about John Cena's retirement tour since last year. And then it's like, now you're gonna use it as a crutch to counter program. I don't like that aspect of it, more so because of Cena. You know, I'm like, he deserves like his own like moment, his own like his own stage, you know. And all of this, like, you know, the counter programming stuff, you know what it is, right? Somebody on there's a wrestling commentator who spoke about this, and he did make a great point where WWE, like, you know, AEW, you know, they've been successful this year, right? And, you know, people are going to buy the pay-per-views. They're going to do this, right? What they're also doing by doing the counter programming is they're taking headlines away. Like they want the spotlight on them. They want the headlines. And, it's one of those things where it's like, you guys are going to get the headlines no matter what, too. So it's like, it doesn't matter when you do it or not. WWE has become a fucking moment merchant this year. So it was like, it doesn't matter what you guys do. You could do it next week. You could do it the following week. You're going to do something that's going to have people talking because that's the agenda that you're going to push regardless. But this whole thing, I don't know, man. It's like the whole thing with Goldberg, right? Regardless of how I feel about Goldberg, right? Because even when Krssi went, she went on her rant, and I was low-key defending Goldberg. I wasn't defending Goldberg in the aspect of, Goldberg deserved his moment. Goldberg deserved his flowers. My thing was that Goldberg had, I feel, Goldberg complained, and I don't blame him for complaining of how things went and how they promoted it, because I don't think WWE did a great job promoting it. You gave him a moment saying like, hey, we're gonna do this for you. We're gonna give you your last match, and then you used it as a counter program to the point that nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared. I certainly didn't care. But it was one of those things where it's like, if you wanted to make it matter, then you could have done a better job by making people care. Now, I'm not saying that people aren't going to care about this whole John Cena stuff, but you're using it as a vessel to counter program. I just don't think, you're taking that away from him. I don't know how Cena feels about it. He's probably going to say, hey, it's the business, whatever the case may be. But I think it's one of those things where it doesn't matter if it's a week apart. John Cena his last match will be a big moment, and it should be in a realm by itself, not, we're going to use it to counter program World's End pay-per-view. It's like you're not even counter to their best pay-per-view of the year, biggest pay-per-view of the year. You're using it for one of their standard pay-per-views. But that's just the aspect of it, right? It's just like, you're using it for that. All right, cool. That's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do.
Kind of disrespectful to Cena. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. We got Power Drive Finisher. He says, I hope AEW is the future. I love Wednesdays because of AEW. Most weeks I'm stuff with mediocre wrestling, just waiting for AEW to bring some good in-ring action. And Senior Nerd says, is these shits like this is why people are rooting WWE to fail. It is true. I don't know. I don't know if I'm rooting for anyone to fail, but I do understand the sentiment when they do stuff like this. That is it's baffling because they're clearly the number one. So you don't have to try this hard to put down number two. So it's baffling in that state. It's also very disgusting and just corporate ickiness a lot. But someone who can articulate that better is someone who is finally out of her car. She's finally home. She can finally sit down and talk with us. Miss Krssi Luv, how are you doing?
I just want to go on record. Good morning, everybody. I just want to go on record. I was ready since like 11:05. That's number one. Two, SP said he was coming back to the States. He said 11.
Ready? You're ready? Were you ready?
I was okay.
You were in the car. Yes, you were in the car. I don't know if that's ready though.
Okay, fine, whatever.
The reason I put you on is because I was like, she looks like she's driving and she's talking to traffic. And so I was like,
but I was also talking to you guys back because I was like agreeing with everything you were saying in the background, everything Josh was saying. I was like, right, but also cussing people out as they was driving. So I'm here. Sorry. Again, my petition was late. I was late. I didn't know. I didn't. Again, we were supposed to start at 11. I didn't know we were going to start at 10. True. So I was like, all right, cool.
You didn't see the chat. Wait, you didn't see the chat yesterday. Oh shit, that's why.
He got to tag you.
You got to tag me.
Our producer messing around.
So yeah. So I put in the chat this morning. I was like, I saw you put the stuff up for Twitter. I was like, 10 o'clock. I was like, wait. I'm definitely not making it to the clock because I'm gonna be sitting in the chair, get my head. I was like, that's not gonna happen. So I sit in immediately. I sit at 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, hey, I'm not gonna make that time. So I ran out of there. It was like 11. I was like 11. Okay, so I can log on my phone. I heard you. I heard every word you said, and then when it was time for me to talk, SP was like, "You ready?" now you can't hear nothing. I was like ready to talk, and I was like, I could hear y'all, but y'all couldn't hear me.
Yeah, completely blank, and then all you saw was you like
my hand motions. I was like, what the? Then my block was cut off. I had to go all the way around. I was just like annoyed. I was just so annoyed. Like they it was.
I mean, it made for great entertainment because it was funny. It was like not hearing the sound, but we see your reaction. It was great. It was great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, it was. Original time was supposed to be 11:05 a.m. Eastern time. I didn't even change it until this morning. So
sorry. Thanks, guys. It's okay. It's all right.
It's not my fault. I didn't change the time.
It's not I didn't change the time.
It's just like because I thought Sid was like on the plane yesterday, and then he's like, "Oh no, I'm already back," and I was like, "Oh damn!" I was like, "You got here really fast." I just would have appreciated another hour of sleep. That would have been nice.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Again, I went to go get the stuff done. I was like, he said he's gonna be 11. I was like, cool, that works perfect. I would only been like a few minutes late. Sorry, but I'm here. Hey guys,
it's okay. You're here.
I hear WWE's on some fuck shit since last week. I was so sorry that didn't come last week. I wasn't feeling well, and I'm still under the weather. The last week was a whole damn migraine, half hangover-ish. This week is a whole like cold sinus infection type bullshit. But I'm here and I'm happy to be here. I'm so sorry that I'm late. WWE just wants to be the only one that wants to be ruler of the world when they know that there's another number 2 and they don't want nobody to be number 2.
No, they actually do want somebody to be number 2. They want TNA to be number 2 because they can control TNA. So yeah, the synopsis of everything that we've talked about in the news so far is WWE is using TNA to get a TV deal on one of their networks to go against AEW on Wednesdays, and they might have a clause in their contract that says they can match any offer to sell TNA because a potential sale of TNA has been in the rumor mill, and that former UFC executive Lorenzo Fertella could be in the running to own there, who is associated to TKO because of WWE and UFC. Then you also have WWE doing a premium live event on September 20th to go against AEW All Out. That's going to be over the limit in Indianapolis, and it's going to be headlined by John Cena versus Brock Lesnar to counter program All Out.
Nobody wants to see John Cena and Brock Lesnar. That's number 1. Nobody wants to see that.
There are people. There actually are people. And then the final thing that you just walked in on is they are planning. There's a rumor that Cena's last match would be on December 27th to go against AEW's Worlds End in Chicago.
Okay, why is it now such a coincidence that all of these dates keep happening on the same day as
It's not a coincidence anymore. They're making it very clear what they're doing.
They want people to choose and pick. And this whole you got to break down this whole ESPN bullshit too, because it's like, do I now have to take away my Peacock and now buy ESPN? What am I doing now? What is happening?
You gotta watch last week's episode. I was
sick. I told you. Okay, all right, fine.
But synopsis of that is, if you have cable that has ESPN, you get the app for free. If you don't, you have to pay for the app, basically.
Oh, okay. So I have like the Disney Plus bundle thing. Does that include?
I think if you have Hulu Live, you get it for free.
I don't got Hulu Live. I got Hulu, but I don't have Hulu Live.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. The fuck is the difference? I don't know. I don't know what the difference is. I don't care about that. I don't care about that until 2026. Let's be honest. No, I'm just saying. Like, it just sounds fucking stupid.
It does sound stupid. I have to check the subscription. So what you're saying is now I have to pay extra money to watch their PLEs. I guess I'll be watching them on a stream somewhere for someone else.
Because regular Hulu's because regular Hulu's actually being removed. Hulu, like the app is being removed.
What?
Yeah. It's basically it was being merged with Disney Plus. So
which it already is in
I got that.
Yeah.
I got
no, you're fine then. You're fine, but somebody who has like a separate Hulu account like me, it's being discontinued. I mean, I'm kind of glad because I do need the extra money. So,
I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't have money to be just giving out all these. I got. You know how much Netflix?
$30? No.
Netflix is like the most expensive one.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN can suck my dick with that. They ain't getting no $30 from me a month. I barely watch. I don't even follow ESPN like that. I only follow like the scores. I don't even watch ESPN.
There we go. Davion says, what is the new app being called? ESPN DTC, direct to consumer.
What?
That's the tentative name. It's probably going to be called something else by the time it starts. Like, once again, I don't care until 2026. We'll figure it out in December.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. But I'm like, I ain't paying no $30. I know that much.
I'm not paying for no cheap, no trash ass PLE event.
I'm hoping I'm back in Europe by then, and I get a 1-year visa where I can watch everything on Netflix. That was much easier for my life, and I didn't have to deal with Netflix USA ads. Oh my God, this viewing of Monday Night Raw sucked for me. But let's talk about it. Monday Night Raw on Netflix. No. I was on my phone. Why would I use my VPN on my phone? I was on my phone coming off a plane to watch Raw.
So
I had all the ads. I had all the US ads.
Oh, never mind. I thought you was like at home or something.
No, WWE on Netflix. The show featured CM Punk kicking off the broadcast, calling out Seth Rollins, but he got LA Knight instead, who staked his claim for the World Heavyweight Championship. After both men disagreed on who got next, Paul Heyman came out and issued a challenge of his own for Knight and Punk to face the Braun Brawns in the main event, which they eventually accepted. While Knight and Punk both want shots, so does Jey Uso, who LA Knight confronted backstage and told him that the line starts behind him. Later, we got Punk and Knight defeating the Braun Brawns. Yes, I am calling them that because Seth Rollins and CM Punk started calling them that on this episode. The baby faces won via disqualification when Seth Rollins attacked Punk and Knight until Jey Uso came out to make the save. Then Adam Pearce announced that Rollins will defend his title against Uso, Knight, and Punk at Clash in Paris. Knight and Punk got into a brawl until the Vision jumped all three baby faces, laying them out and standing tall to close the program. Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano, they picked up a win over AJ Styles and Dragon Lee ahead of AAA's TripleMania. Sami Zayn defeated Rusev via disqualification when the MFTs jumped Sami. Post-match, Sheamus attacked Rusev as the two men brawled through the crowd. Becky Lynch defeated Maxine Dupree to retain the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Post-match, then Becky kicked Natalya and bailed out of the ring. WWE announced that Naomi was not medically cleared to compete in her scheduled WWE Women's World Championship matchup against Io Sky. So Io had a match against Roxanne Perez instead. This led to Perez pulling off an upset, getting the win over Sky in a great match.
On the show. Sorry.
Thanks to the Kabuki Warriors, who were trying to help Io, but it backfired. Later, Io got upset with Asuka, who pushed her after the matchup. Monday Night Raw was the Io Sky stuff. That was the most important thing and the most entertaining thing. Your enjoyment of the Vision and Seth Rollins is going to vary on the person, but that was the other thing that happened on the show. Everything else really didn't matter. The MFTs were here for no reason. Any thoughts on Raw, Krssi?
Nope. The best part of the whole show was Roxanne and Io. Best match. Everything else was just blah. Yeah, nobody cared really.
Josh?
I mean, they announced I know they announced the Fatal 4-Way. That's about it. All Raw did is just it proved how much of a piece of shit Punk is. He cost LA Knight the match last week, and then he's like demanding the match himself. It's like, bro, like what the fuck? Like what the fuck?
And no type of accountability. He was like, I saved you. Like what, nigga?
You cost him the match.
Yeah.
You cost him the match. What are you talking about? You saved him.
Just to saying that he's selfish and he only cares about himself.
You see, but you see that like you see that gaslighting bullshit. I saved you. You cost me the match, motherfucker. That's not the point that you saved me.
He ain't give no fucks. No fucks given. Yeah, Io and Roxanne, that was a really good matchup. The Bailey segment was really good. With Bailey
I like the
going through her depression and everything and going crazy. I like that. That was really good. But this was not the strong episode of Monday Night Raw. I do agree with what was said earlier in the chat. This has not been the best week when it comes to WWE content, especially when NXT, usually my least favorite, was the best show of the week.
Yeah.
Me. But it was a good week for most people, except for one, Karrion Kross.
Oh my God.
And is it legit or is it not? Karrion Kross and Scarlett exited WWE earlier this week. Kross had an interview with Ariel Helwani. He told him earlier this week that WWE did in fact offer him a new deal, but refused to provide additional information to him, and then gave him 24 hours to accept the deal. When he didn't, they rescinded the offer. He also noted that they did not give Scarlett a new offer and said that he spoke to a WWE rep instead of Triple H during the contract talks. During this appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Helwani also asked Kross point blank if he is working fans and in character for the interview, and he said no. He also asked if he is working fans over his WWE release, and Kross again said no. Helwani stressed that he doesn't like to ask wrestlers questions like whether they're working the fans or not, but because of the recent Seth Rollins situation where Rollins faked an injury, he said he felt the need to. Kross's response to Helwani asking him if he's working the fans right now, he said, and I quote, "No, I'm not answering questions today as a character." On if it is accurate that he has not signed a new deal with WWE and is not under WWE contract, he also said that is accurate. Yeah. On what happened that led to his WWE exit, he said, well, the truth of the matter is you've already stated my contract was up last week. I never actually received an offer until last week. I think it was Tuesday off the top of my head. I got the offer. I wanted to know how they came to the valuation of that offer. Just wanted some new information, some metrics, some analytics that support it. Hey, this is how we got here. When I inquired about that, they were unwilling to provide that information and that I had 24 hours to agree to the offer or they were rescinding it. So the next day we talk, I asked if they have the information, they don't. And I said, I can't make an informed decision without the information. And I like to keep the dialogue open. And they rescinded the deal. They rescinded the offer. And that's actually where we are at. On how he and Scarlett both still want to be in WWE. He said, and I quote, I know how a lot of people feel when they make an exit. I can empathize with everybody's experience. Every experience exiting the company is different. This isn't to disparage WWE, but because there is so many convoluted stories out there going on and actually to even some degree affect our livelihood or of what we're supposed to be doing afterwards, people don't want to reach out because they're not sure if they are tampering and stuff like that. The goal has always been to be with WWE. My wife and I still want to be with WWE. I'm at the table for conversations. I did not step out of the conversation. We still want to be there. We still want to work it out. Kross also discussed his viral interview that took place with Sam Roberts and Megan Morant on the WrestleMania recap show following WrestleMania 41. During the interview with Sam Roberts, Kross cut an improvised interview segment that was a work, but was cut to make it look like a shoot and feel real. According to Kross, the interview upset some higher-ups in WWE, including Triple H. Yes, Triple H got work, y'all, because no one included them in at the time that the segment would work. On WWE realizing his character was getting over, he said, and I quote, there were times throughout this that there were creative things I think we could have done to really nurture it. Give people essentially what they're looking for out of it. I can't really necessarily place a time where I was like, uh-oh, but everyone was aware the crowd was really enjoying it. Live, online, when to pull the trigger on really directly, I don't know. Bringing attention to it, syncing it with something creatively. I don't know when they would have wanted to have done that. On why he revealed his WrestleMania recap interview with Sam Roberts was a work in his documentary. So I kept that protected because I was under the impression at the time from things I was told that AJ and I might be working a little bit. and there was some options as to different things we can do. So you do want to let everyone behind the curtain while they're still watching the movie. Imagine watching Terminator 2, and in the middle of the movie, we're going to take a little intermission, and this is CGI, and they've got a robot on the strings. I didn't want to do that. So I kept it protected like I would with anything, so people can remain immersed in the programming. On how the Sam Roberts WrestleMania recap interview came together, he said a WWE producer asked Kross, "Do you want to do the Sam Roberts podcast tomorrow?" I said, "Sure, I'd love to." And I asked him, "What do you want? What do you want?" He goes, "Give me that guy." That was pretty entertaining. I go, "Okay, premise-wise, what are you looking for?" He goes, we want it to feel real. In terms of viewership and engagement, things go better when they feel real. That's nothing new under the sun. The more real everything feels, the better it performs like theater. So I go, okay. At one point, I just had Dana White on one of the programs that he was overseeing or something. He was using the F word quite a bit. At the time, I thought I had a green light. I asked, I'm allowed to say the F word? I won't say it 40 times, but I can use it impactfully. He goes, yeah, we want this to feel real. Make this feel real. So I go, okay. So the next day we go to Sam Roberts, and just to clarify with him, I said, all right, well, here's the story arc with Kross. Here's the story with Kross. One match on Raw this year, you lost. He's not on WrestleMania in his hometown. He shows up to WrestleMania. AJ doesn't cheat. In fact, AJ punches him out. And what is the state of the character Kross? Kross is not in a good mood. He would be irate. I've got an improvisational moment. I wasn't on WrestleMania. Why are people watching this? They got the central nervous system fatigue watching one of the greatest shows on earth, WrestleMania. You know, people are probably burnt out. They got to take a minute. I got to do something captivating and something good. Here's my moment. I wasn't on the show, but if you're going to give me a little bit of time, let people see me. On making sure to let everyone know that the interview was a work, he says, so I sit down and I said what I said. I walk out of the shot. They turned off the camera and walked back into the room. Thank you very much, everybody. Shook everybody's hands. Everyone was cool with it. They said, holy cow. They said another word we're not going to say here, but yeah, everybody was really blown away. I let everybody know, let's make sure this is somewhat protected from the audience, but let everyone know internally that this is a work, because not every department is in lockstep communication with one another. So I told everybody that. Sure enough, not everybody knew that it was a work. On if the offer WWE gave him was for less than what he was making, he said no. But at the end of the day, when an evaluation is being suggested, there has to be something where people can go to information-wise and say, this is how we came to this. This is what we think makes sense. I asked to see that information. I still haven't seen it. I want to see it. Let's look at it together and let's decide if this is appropriate or not. I don't think that's unreasonable. On if the offer was a departure from what he was hoping for, he says, I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was thinking, let's assess everything together and see where we're at. I want to make sure this is actually reflective fairly of what we have information-wise to collect and look at. That's all. On how close he came to accepting the offer within 24 hours, he said impossible, because I had explained to them, I had said there is no opportunity here to make an informed decision without looking at the information together. So you can't do that. Your whole livelihood is based on this idea with no information to support it. I just wanted to get there and keep the dialogue open, and I still do. And on who he spoke to at WWE about his contract, he said it's a rep that the company appointed to have a conversation with. I would have loved to have spoken to either one of my bosses. Hawani he said, would that be Paul Levesque? Sure. When my wife came back, Hunter had called us and we did our deals over the phone together. So I was just under the assumption that they were going to do that again. We did them at the same time. So typically I wouldn't put somebody in front of me to talk to Hunter. I feel comfortable to talk to him in person, and we've always talked that way. On if Scarlett received an offer from WWE, he says there was no offer to her. He says, I was told at one point because I did inquire. Of course, after we deal with you, we'll deal with her. On if anyone from WWE has reached out to him in the last few days, he said no. Multiple "We Want Kross" signs were spotted in the crowd during last Monday's WWE Raw. It was later reported by Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio that WWE was confiscating the signs during the show, noting that the people in charge of confiscating the signs likely wouldn't know if what's happening with Karrion Kross right now is a work or not. And according to an update from Fightful Select, sources within WWE are denying that the Kross signs were compensated during the show, during that several were seen during the live Netflix broadcast. So we'll start with you, Josh. What did you think about what Kross has to say? And we'll just ask you the question. Do you think this is all a work or not?
So to the question itself, I don't think it is. I don't think it's a work. And the only reason why I'm saying I don't think it's a work is because of prior experiences when it comes to wrestlers being booked and how things work, right? So when it comes to Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, that's what he's going back. He's going back to his name. He's been booked for a lot of things now. A lot of conventions, a lot of wrestling appearances. These things really don't happen under WWE. There's a reason why. It's because a lot of it isn't WWE controlled. When he was doing a prior indie event as Karrion Kross, it was WWE controlled. It was WWE making the booking, and he was presented as a WWE superstar. So that's kind of made the situation easier. But certain companies who are usually not WWE associated, he's doing appearances for them. So that's why I think it's not a work in that aspect. But then also because of the things that he's been saying, I don't think you want this to be a work when you basically make the company look bad. But to Karrion's credit, it wasn't him trying to make the company look bad. It was him speaking his truth.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is he's talking about his own personal experience. When you hear the guy, he clearly wants to be in WWE. He loves the company. He loves being part of the brand because this is what he grew up with. This is what he wants to be. And he's made that very clear that he still wants to be in WWE. So that's why I think it's not a work because of the things that he said. Things, booking wise, but things that he said. I'm like, I don't think you want this to be a work when it's not making your company, making them look really good.
Yep.
You offered him a deal and you gave him 24 hours to respond. I've never heard of that. That was kind of weird to me.
That is like some movie shit. You got 24 hours to sign or you don't get shit. And we're not signing your wife too.
So it's like, you're just signing me. You're not even like signing my wife back.
And I don't want to give you the information that you need to make an informed decision.
So it's like, well, what am I supposed to do then?
But I also understand it from a WWE perspective because I talked about it with Jimmy on AE Ramble, and he said, man, he answered the question of, yes, this is more than what you were making before. So why the fuck am I going to go through all this work for Karrion Kross? No, you don't get an evaluation. Either accept the deal or take it. You take it or leave it, and it will leave you at the table. I understand from WWE's perspective, like, should WWE put in all this work to re-sign Karrion Kross? If he's making more than he was making before, in WWE's mind, that should be enough. Yeah.
And, I wanted to add to that because it's one of those things where I kind of feel like it's a double-edged sword where it comes to, the talent. He wants to have a comfortable deal. He wants to make more money. And that's always a given. When you're a free agent, you try to find the best deal possible, right? Yes. But on the flip side, the company aspect, they're seeing it as, all right, if we're giving you this 5-year deal, where do we see you 3 years from now, 4 years from now? Where do we see you within the length of the contract? So I do see that aspect as well. Now, if he was offered more money, realistically, we don't know what was the offer. He did say it was more money, but it doesn't mean like it could have been like 50,000 more. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where it's like, it was probably more money, but we don't know what was the money. And that's why he probably wanted the reevaluation. He wanted to say, hey, all right, this is the number you came up with. I want to see what was the reason
for that number.
I would like to know that reason, which again, part of negotiations is part of that. This is where things go by. When you offer the deal, you say, hey, this is what I'm being offered. What's the reason? What's the purpose? You're trying to find the best deal possible from your end. So in retrospect, I do see both sides of things because, again, we have been very open. I think a lot of us do like Killer Kross. I do like him as a person, but his in-ring stuff is so one-dimensional that it's like I don't see long-term success when it comes to WWE because regardless of how we feel about like their stuff or like they care about moments, a lot of the top guys are top in-ring performers. And I just don't see that from Karrion Kross. No disrespect to him at all. It's just one of those things where it's like you're gonna re-sign him, but what's gonna be next for him? Like, what's the next move when you re-sign him? Is he gonna move up? Is he gonna be a top mid-card guy? Are you just gonna use him for talking segments? Because honestly, if you're just using him as a talker in general, I don't see them shelling out the money for him for that. You know what I mean? So I could see that aspect. It's just the way that it was done. I think it could have been done better. You're just giving him 24 hours. You don't offer his wife a deal because you're like, oh, we're gonna take care of you first. But then also it kind of comes off scummy because what if he accepted the deal and they're like, oh, we're not resigning your wife?
Correct.
You just capped the guy signing the deal without bringing his wife back, and I think that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah. So
it kind of just comes off because he could have offered them a deal at the same time. You know what I mean? Like you could have offered them at the same time, but it's one of those things where I think it's kind of funny how business works. Ricochet was offered the deal. Ricochet didn't want to stay in WWE. He left. Karrion Kross wants to stay in WWE, and they pulled the deal from him. You have guys who wanted to stay. Dijak wanted to stay. They didn't offer him a deal.
Nope.
Sonya Deville wanted to stay. They didn't offer her a new deal. So it's one of those things where it's like we're at a point where it's like, they have an agenda. WWE, it's a business. It's TKO. It's not the old regime anymore.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where it's like going forward, we have to accept it. We really have to understand like not everybody's gonna get re-signed. You could like this person, if you truly like a wrestler and wherever they go, still support them. It doesn't have to be in WWE. And I think that with Karrion Kross, a lot of people, when you watch this documentary, there's a lot of people say, hey, you deserve better. All the fans are saying that to him. But if you truly are a fan, if you truly like the guy, no matter what he does, no matter what he do, what he goes, always support him. No matter what, you should support him. It doesn't have to be WWE related. And when it comes to Karrion Kross himself, I don't think he should be sitting around waiting on a WWE deal. If they didn't give you one, then I don't think they're going to. And then what's going to be worse? They're probably going to come back to you now and probably give you a lesser deal because you already turned down the first deal. So I'm like, I don't think this benefits him when it comes to that aspect. But I think he has to, weigh his options. If you get a better deal and you feel like it makes the most sense to you, take it. Because at the end of the day, your goal is to be in WWE. But if the loyalty is not two ways, then you got to keep going. You got to keep moving forward, and I really hope he does that.
What do you think, Krssi, about this whole situation? Do you think it is a work, or do you think Kross was being honest in this interview?
He was being honest. I don't think that they would have signed his wife because she's pointless and useless. She was just there for looks.
Whoa! Like you got watching stuff. Could they have done more with Scarlett? 100%. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's not I'm just saying they didn't use her, so she was there pointless. Like she was good for a look. She looked great. She was there as his wife. She looked perfectly, but they wasn't using her. They wasn't doing nothing. So they was like, "Oh, we're not using her. We're not going to sign her." That's how I'm seeing it. I don't think they didn't use her like any other girl. Look, Maxine Dupree get more stuff than anybody, and she don't even wrestle.
She's not good.
And she's not good. Thank you. At least Scarlett, can do stuff.
Scarlett could actually wrestle. That's what makes no sense. That's what makes no sense.
That's what I'm trying to say. She was not being used properly. So they said, you know what? since we don't use her, and I think she's way better looking than Maxine. But whatever, that's just me.
Damn, you insulting people's looks now?
I mean, we're calling a spade a spade. I'm just going giving you the whole thing. Like what? Like they wasted a beautiful woman. Like they didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like
this is true. That's a good point. And I don't. Davion Jackson, has she ever wrestled a match for WWE? I don't think she has.
Didn't they do like a mixed tag one maybe? But I could be wrong.
I don't even remember that. I'm gonna go to her Pro Fight DB, which is a database which gives people's like latest matches, and her last match, Scarlett's last match. Oh, she's wrestled at live events, so there's something there. Her last matchup was a mixed tag team matchup of Karrion Kross and Scarlett versus AJ Styles and Michin from June of 2023. That's the last time she wrestled on WWE TV. Outside of live shows, she's only wrestled on TV twice.
And again, that's not her fault.
Yeah.
That's WWE's fault. They didn't utilize her properly. She could have been used very, very well, but they also didn't use Kross well. Like this last little run, they made people interested in him, if we're being honest. But they've never booked him where he was good. Let's just call a spade a spade.
It's true.
Unless he was in NXT, and that was very, very like minimal too. That was very, very thin.
Yeah, I mean, even with NXT,
then they took the belt off of him like right away.
Well, they only took the belt right off of him because he got injured, and then they put it right back on him.
Okay, but again, they didn't use him.
They used him well in NXT. It was when he went to the main roster and they dressed him up like a gimp was the issue.
In NXT, so in NXT they used them to the best of their ability. Well, you know, when it comes to NXT, they did use them to the best of their ability, but in retrospect, when it comes to his style of wrestling, you know, it's not something that's like you're gonna be the top guy based off of that. You know, we're not telling people to be ring generals, but to be something more than just, you know, you're doing like the suplexes and you're doing the chokeholds. But
correct.
It's like you got to capture an audience when it comes to that too, to make you seem like, you know, you like Keith Lee. The reason why he became like, you know, when he became NXT, it's because of his wrestling. Like his wrestling was captivating to the point that it was like, oh, we want to see Keith Lee more, you know, and they kind of did give him a big push in NXT. And Karrion Kross's case,
people tend to forget the real story there. So I'll say the real story. Real story was Keith Lee's always been a great wrestler when he was signed by WWE. He wasn't initially pushed in NXT. It wasn't until Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, this big guy is great." During the whole Survivor Series 2019 build.
Well, it was wrestling.
And then Triple H was like, "Yeah, I should probably push him, right?"
Yeah, and that was because of his wrestling. Like it was his wrestling that got him to that point.
Captivated, and people were behind him.
Yeah, it was his wrestling. But when it comes to Karrion Kross, right? Because even the last like few months, honestly, I was at the same notion where I was just like, where the fuck did this love affair of Karrion Kross came from? You know, because he was cutting promos, he was doing, but then a lot of it was kind of the same stuff if you really think about it. Yeah. Like it wasn't like it wasn't captivating. But it was one of those things where I was just like, all right, like how did this happen? Like what did he do that kind of like got to that point? But he is a good talker. Like I won't take that away from him. He is a good talker, but it was one of those things where I'm just like, what did he do that? It's kind of like the LA Knight thing where it just happened out of nowhere and we're just like trying to figure out like, hey, how the fuck did this happen? Because Karrion Kross wasn't used.
Someone in the chat says it's very akin to Zack Ryder's rise. Where it just happened on social media. It was more of a social media thing than anything that was going on screen.
Yeah, because he wasn't being used on TV at all. And then when we did kind of get those matches, it was kind of like, you got your match. Because even SummerSlam, you know, if it wasn't for that cage match, Sammy and Karrion Kross was probably the worst match of that weekend from SummerSlam. And I'm just being honest about that. it was just boring. It was just,
SummerSlam.
the match was boring. Yeah, the match was
Oh my
boring.
God.
But then also, like, you just buried the guy completely, because not only Sammy won, but then the whole purpose of the storyline, Sammy, he didn't do what he said he was gonna do.
Right.
And Sammy right. Sammy was right the whole time. So it's kind of like, not only the match was bad, but then it's like, damn, this completely buried Karrion. And then, it's just one of those things.
They didn't even care about that part. They wanted to bury him.
Yeah.
They didn't want Karrion. They didn't want Kross to like shine or do anything, because that would have came across.
I think it's a scenario.
Even if he would have lost, they still would have made him shine through. And that didn't even, whoever booked this match and did everything, it didn't do anything to benefit Kross at all.
Yeah, because
that should have told him how they feel about him.
Yeah, and I think
exactly.
It's one of those things. I think for me, this is one of the many cases in WWE of wrong the wrong person's getting over with the crowd.
Yep.
And we kind of see how they treat these kind of guys. You haven't really seen a guy that, maybe outside of Daniel Bryan, where you see that the crowd gets behind them and, you want great things for them, and then it goes absolutely nowhere. But me personally, I hope, he, obviously he's bouncing back on his feet, but it's one of those things where it's like, bro, I don't think you should be harboring on trying to go back to WWE, especially now, because again, they obviously value you a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see you the same way that you see them.
Correct.
And I think that he's
also ruining his chances of going to AEW, because he's letting it be known he'd rather be in WWE.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not even going to get consideration from AEW if you going in with that mindset.
Yeah, and then and the AEW, they're not wrong for that. They don't contact you because you kind of just made it clear what your intentions are. Yep. So it's like, as a company, you can't really blame them if they don't reach out to you. I know people were harboring onto that, like, hey, they should sign them. I'm like, I don't think. I'll be happy for him because he'll get a deal. But it's one of those things where, one, I don't think AEW really needs him. I'm just being honest. I really don't think they need him. And then two, it's a weird look where you just like rah for WWE, and then you're going to you're signing a multi-year deal with the competitor. But it's one of those things again, like, you already made your intentions known, how you feel, and it's okay. I'm not knocking Karrion for how he feels about wanting to be in WWE, because I understand, especially watching the documentary, especially watching his interview. I understand why he wants to be in WWE. However, sometimes it's like, I understand that it's your dream job, but then sometimes I'm like, bro, if they're not as loyal as you want to be to them, then you got to see the bigger picture. You got to move on. And I really do hope he sees that eventually. But then also on top of that, what a lot of people are not talking about is that the fact that he was talking about that other people got involved, and Triple H hasn't said nothing. That should tell you something. If he's not being involved himself, he's the head of talent relations, and he's not even being involved in it. So what does that tell you about this? What does that tell you about Triple H at the moment? It's like, he could, if Triple H truly wants to step in, he could have stepped in and say, no, he's our guy. We're going to sign him back. That hasn't even happened. So what does that tell you?
Doesn't even look like it's a consideration to him. But there's more to this story, as Dave Meltzer reports in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter that the general belief is that the Karrion Kross situation is real and not a work. But one person he spoke to in independent wrestling still believes the situation is a work, and noted that the high prices Kross and Scarlett are asking for. Meltzer also noted that WWE is still selling Karrion Kross merchandise at full price instead of marking it down, as they often do for talent that is no longer with the company. Many within WWE also still believe both Kross and Scarlett will return to the company, whether this situation is legit or a work. Meltzer added that WWE is now very secretive with certain storylines, such as the recent Seth Rollins injury angle, so only a few people would know the reality of the situation if it was a storyline. He also adds that the situation doesn't add up since WWE has promoted Kross and Scarlett as mysterious characters recently, so it would be odd if they would not intend to sign them to new deals or give them a bad offer. He found it odd that Kross would go public on the Ariel Helwani show with all the contract negotiation details if he really did want to return to WWE, as he said he did, since airing grievances publicly make that outcome less likely. Meltzer also pointed out that if the situation is a work, Kross and Scarlett would still do some of the things they are doing, such as selling their own merchandise online and making a few independent appearances. So that type of stuff would further sell the storyline as real. A new report had some more context disputing some of the details, suggesting that Karrion Kross and Scarlett's WWE exits are a work. Fightful Select has posted a rumor rundown that gives some notes on Scarlett and Kross's situations while stating unequivocally that the situation is legitimate. The report notes that while Kross and Scarlett are charging a lot for bookings, as was said, that this is customary for people coming off of WWE TV, and that it's a rare situation where a talent would just wrestle at a WWE PLE 2 weeks ago is now available. The couple have already been booked and promoted for a number of conventions throughout the next month. And the report notes that the rumors regarding higher-ups not being sure if it's a work aren't true. WWE's higher-ups were all emailed and informed of Kross's contract expiring, and after their exit from WWE earlier this week, Karrion Kross and Scarlett have announced a list of convention dates, including Mad Monster Expo on August 22nd in North Carolina, Creep IE Aftermath on September 5th through 7th in Ontario, California, Silver Scream Con on September 12th through the 14th in Worcester, Massachusetts. Scardice on October 3rd through 4th in Tampa, Florida. New York Comic Con on October 10th through 12th, and the big event EXX on November 15th in Brentwood, California. The dates are included as part of the Killer Smoke Show Carnage Tour. So they're keeping themselves active. They're doing the convention tours. As far as like my final answer, I'm going to say that this isn't a work. It can become a work, but as of right now, it's not a work, because Kross should not have said any of the things he said on Ariel Helwani if this was a work. Did it sell it as it being a work that they're trying to come off as real? Yeah, there was parts of the interview where I was just like, nah, this sounds like a bunch of BS. But then him criticizing Triple H, saying Triple H got worked, saying Triple H didn't want to get involved in the contract negotiations, telling them that they gave him a deadline to sign the contract in 24 hours and that they didn't even want to deal with Scarlett's contract before going to yours. It basically undermined and basically criticized their communication, their talent relations program, and the head of the company. That's not what you do if this is all a work. And there is no point to the work if you're doing all of this. So it has to be somewhat legit.
Yeah, and also to add to like the when they're talking about like, oh, the overpricing when it comes, that's absolutely nothing new. Once you have that WWE moniker on you, your prices go up, and guess what? Their promoters are still going to pay you because they see you as a hot commodity. Like, he's going to House of Glory. They haven't announced it yet, but they already teased it, and it's very obvious that it's him. So I mean, if they have the money, they're going to pay you because they see it as a not only an investment they're going to make back, but they know people are going to come in to watch them. So it's one of those things where that's nothing new. Your value goes up when it comes to that. So yeah, that's nothing when it comes to that. But again, when it comes to the interview itself, again, there's a lot of stuff that he said. I'm like, you could say that to work, but I'm like, it doesn't make the company look good. And that's why I'm like, I just don't see that aspect of it. Whereas it's like, and also on hindsight, the bigger picture is, what's next? If this is a work and he does come back, what are you doing after that? I don't see nothing big. I don't see nothing significant for this to be a work. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, we're creating attention and we're doing this. Oh, he's back, guys. What do we do now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Makes sense. Or where are you at, Krssi? Do you think 0 to 100? What do you think? Is it a work?
I don't think this is a work. Again, if they giving you 24 hours and they telling you to sign and they giving you all these ultimatums and you didn't sign and they was all right, no problem. One less person we have to deal with. They got other shit to think about, like taking how they gonna get con everybody out this ESPN money foolishness, and
how to distract people from Brock Lesnar being in a sex trafficking case.
Yep, it's true.
And give him a whole and putting him against John Cena to rival the other company. Let's make that make sense, friends. They don't give a shit.
All works in their favor, though.
Yep.
A new report had an update on Liv Morgan as she recovers from her shoulder injury. As previously noted, Morgan has been out since mid-June after she suffered the injury during a match on Raw and was expected to be out for several months after undergoing surgery. PW Insider Elite reports that Morgan was set for an evaluation this week. The internal hope, according to both outlets, is that she will be back by the start of 2026. Fightful Select notes that the window has been the optimistic target for her for a while. Morgan was the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion at the time of her injury with Raquel Rodriguez, with Roxanne Perez taking her place after the injury. Perez and Rodriguez lost the titles to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam. Yeah. But a big title match got postponed on this week's Monday Night Raw as Naomi was pulled from her matchup on this week's Raw, and a report had a bit more details on the matter. As noted, the women's world champion has announced shortly before the show that she was not medically cleared to go against Io Sky. Sky ended up facing Roxanne Perez, who picked up the win. The original announcement of Naomi being unable to compete teased continued coverage of her being pulled, but there was no update on her status during the show. PW Insider Elite reported that Naomi was backstage at Raw this week and that it therefore wasn't a travel issue. However, the reason for her being pulled has not been revealed backstage. PW Insider Elite also reports that Naomi's absence led to WWE changing up their plans for the show, not just for the show, but in terms of moving up a long-term creative plan for Asuka. According to the report, Asuka's walking out on Sky during their confrontation backstage after Roxanne Perez defeated Sky because of the Kabuki Warriors was an acceleration of plans for Asuka. The site notes that there were plans for Asuka to turn on Io, but the plan was originally set to have a slow burn and then have a falling out later. The decision was made to have the moment occur on this week's show because of the changes in play, and the report notes that Sky's match with Perez was also a last-minute move, and that there was discussion of Perez and Rodriguez facing Sky and Rhea Ripley when they had to change things up. It is not yet clear if Asuka's turn would have happened in the tag match plans as well, but Asuka seems like she's going to be a replacement. It's been very vague when it comes to the Naomi news, which has led to some very interesting rumors. They would think it was Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live. He says that whatever is going on with Naomi, it should see her being out of action for a long time. So he didn't specify if it's an injury or not, which led to the rumor mill and Reddit and everything going crazy, where one of the more predominant rumors is that Jimmy Uso impregnated our WWE Women's World Champion.
I mean, that would be wonderful, but not in a bad timing.
That would be horrible timing. That would be, I'm trying to ruin your chances. You going away too soon.
Like, my career's in the shit, so I got to make yours stop.
I guess they got too excited when she won the belt and, decided to make a baby that night. Oh, who knows?
Listen, these ladies are, okay, see, there's no real timing for all of this, especially if they do want to have plans to do this. There's like Becky Lynch, same thing happened to her. It happened in a time where her stuff was like at peak pandemic though, but still peak. And, you know, she had to give it up. These things, you know, happen. Like Alexa Bliss, peak, you know, peak career stuff. I mean, she wasn't doing much anyway during that time, but still, nevertheless, you know, peak stuff is happening. And their clocks are not, you know, the time clock is, you know, for us ladies, we're getting ancient. After a certain age, it gets harder.
Yeah.
So it would have, again, sucks career wise, but like for her, yes, I'm happy for her if that is what it is.
She is 37 years old.
She's got to pop that baby out.
So I would understand from one perspective, but it is like the absolute wrong time. This is the time that y'all she should be on birth control and he should be wearing condoms. Like that's how much y'all are. But yeah. Nah. So this is just a rumor. This is reckless speculation. Nothing's been confirmed yet. They did advertise on last night's SmackDown that Naomi will have an update on her being cleared to compete. But this would really throw Monday Night Raw in for a loop because Naomi was the replacement for Liv Morgan due to she being out with injury. So if Naomi is also out, then you're going to need someone like an Asuka or someone else to kind of step in to be the top heel on the brand moving forward.
On the brand, yep, we have to, because other than that,
have to at this point. You have to admit also because, you know, like you're going to rely on Rhea Ripley again. You know, she's a top star, but then it's like
it's not fair to her.
Yeah, you need a heel. You need a heel to go.
No, you need you know, like
she's
you need a heel.
Face right now. She's not a heel. Like she's a heel. Like back then, they're not turning her. They're not turning her heel no time soon.
No, I mean as in like somebody who's gonna like hold the title because Nario's out. They
got plenty of options. They got.
I
don't think the champion is an issue because you could just put the title on Stephanie Vaquer. You could just put the title back on Io Sky. You could put it on the most over person in the division, Rhea Ripley. The title is not the issue. It's who's the top heel. That's the issue because you have those three options that I gave are all baby faces. So either you're turning one of your three top baby faces on this division, or you're turning someone from underneath like an Asuka and moving her up to the top heel position. But somebody has to be the top heel. You can go through and have your three top baby faces, but that's never been conducive. You have to have at least one top heel to go with those baby faces.
I mean, that's fair. It's just I'm coming from a place where, you know, when it comes to the championship, I'm just like, you know, it's like we've kind of been seeing what they've been doing with the championship, and I have my criticisms to it. It just sucks because Naomi had both things going on. She had a great character, and she was a champion. So it was like you're taking away two things that I'm like, it was kind of prominent. Like she was entertaining. She finally did something.
She finally found her niche and her craft, and that now it's like
if that's a positive. I mean, obviously on a personal level, you know, if it's true, you know, congratulations to her. You know, I personally don't think that's what it is, but there's obviously something going on because I think that's kind of. I don't think it's a kind of a super like where it's like, oh, you could start a rumor and then work people. I'm like, but this is not a good work. It's like. Like this is stupid. Like you want to. I was like, what was the point of that? You didn't need to do that. So I mean, if it's true, you know, hope everything works out. But if it's not true, then it's like you got to figure something out. Or if it was like kind of like not as big as they thought it was, obviously it's gonna make somebody like Brian Alvarez look bad because people are gonna have the perception of, oh, you lied, oh, you did this.
Well, Alvarez, it won't look like he's lying. He was probably like misinformed, and he wasn't the one that put out the illusions of the having a baby.
No, but he would get blamed for it regardless. But
I know he would get blamed for it, but he wouldn't be rightfully blamed.
Which is that. Which wouldn't be fair because again, like he didn't say anything that was like concrete. He didn't say anything confirmation. But you know how these people treat the dirt sheets these days. If they give an opinion or something, or whatever the case may be, if it doesn't become true, people are gonna be like, you lied to us. Well, why did you do this to us? But then, yeah, if it's benefits WWE, it's one of those things where, oh, if they're right, we won't say nothing. You're wrong, you're gonna have to pitchforks out. It's one of those things where, I mean, it's very unfortunate, but it's like,
well, something's up because they wouldn't advertise that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like something,
on
something
Monday.
is going
so I
on.
think if it's an injury, that's fine. If it's pregnancy, that's a bigger deal, and that's a whole.
She's gone for a year. She's gone for over a year.
Yeah,
she's gone for like 18 months.
She's not even just a year. People always keep saying a year. It's not just a year.
We've
seen the MO. We've seen it. We've seen this with Alexa
like
Bliss. She was gone for 2 years. Becky Lynch, she was gone for a year and a half. Like, it's not a year, guys.
It's
more. It's more.
18 months.
You guys have to understand the whole
like
dynamics of it all. Like, one you have was 9 months. After the 9 months, now you have to if you breastfeed, if you do all these things, you have to do all these things while there's baby. So you're giving like maybe like that's 9 months. Now you're adding on maybe like 6 months after that, right? So we're at a year and a half now.
At best, that's 15 months.
And that's not even saying like if you're even comfortable taking your baby on a bus, too comfortable. Now you have to get your body into shape and work out and getting these things and get back in the ring and train, because now you're not training your body like you used to. You're training it in a different way now to support your body to now carry a human inside of you. It's totally different things. So you have to give it at least a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, because I know Becky, she came back at a pretty good time for somebody.
She came back fast. She did.
She came back really
after a year and a half. I think it was like 16 months.
Yeah, so I think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, she's gone. Like it's like she gone for at least.
They need Naomi on Raw. They need her. But if this is what's happening, this is the time to do it now.
Yeah, it's part of life.
It's part of life. After we get over the 35 threshold, the point of our bodies now carrying something is very, very. I hate to say it, but it's like it's now you come into the part where it's like really like harder for your body. Your body is not as youthful, it's not as strong. Like, I mean, they do have strong bodies, so they work out a lot more. But as far as like carrying a whole child, different things that come with those things.
It's still it's still a lot.
It's still a lot, and it takes a toll on your body. And if this is what they want to do, she doesn't have any children. He does. So this is something that she probably has wanted to do. It just sucks at when anyone get pregnant, it's not really planned all the time anyway. It happens.
It never is.
It just happens. It just happens. And
again, if you're planning, God bless you, and it happens, you did it. 9 out of 10 chances ain't everybody planning enough this shit. This shit
it's kind of like Seth Rollins when they got when he gave Becky the baby, he kind of blamed Stone Cold for it.
So that's just what happened. Like, it's one of them nights. It was a good night, and we celebrating, and we got real happy. Like, that's just what happens. Like,
yeah, But again, it's one of those things where it's like it's one of those things where it's like I want to say I'm hoping for the best, because if it's a pregnancy, then that it's a beautiful thing for her.
I'm telling you, she's.
But if it's if it's like something else and she has to have time off, then I mean that's where it becomes more unfortunate.
Right.
But again, just because like she's Naomi has really turned a lot of things around, and it just again, timing is very conflicting. It's very one of those things where again, we don't know what it is.
We don't know, right?
And if it's maybe some bullshit, then I'll be more happy with that. Where it's like, oh, she pulls some bullshit. Yeah, she pulls some bullshit off.
But there's this is another instance of if this is just a work, there's no reason to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
You really didn't want to do it. That's much worse. If this is just bullshit for them to pull the matchup, it's just like, why did you have to do that?
Why did you have to do that?
It would be so stupid. So I don't even.
It's like, why did you have to do that? That's what I'm saying. Like, that'd be more idiotic than anything. I agree with that.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that WWE is planning to hold another Lucha Libre AAA event in the United States before the end of the year. This follows the first collaboration event with AAA at Worlds Collide from back in June. At this time, the exact date and location are unknown, but we will keep you posted, and we'll have final predictions for AAA's TripleMania, which is going on tonight in Mexico City. But let's finish finish up with WWE as you had NXT. The show was up in the ratings once again, over 700,000 viewers. The show featured Dark State beating Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Moose and Obafemi in a good 8-man tag main event when Trick left Javon to the Wolves ahead of their number one contenders matchup for next week's NXT in Philadelphia. Nia Jax defeated Lash Legend in a fun lady hoss fight opener to the show. You also had Joe Hendry picked up a win over Charlie Dempsey. Jordan Grace had a sit-down interview where she explained her past body issues and what Blake Monroe had to say about her a few weeks ago to build towards their Heat Wave matchup. Josh Briggs explained his betrayal of Yoshihiko Inamura, with Inamura interrupting before a Philadelphia street fight between the former partners was announced for next week. Chelsea Green was on the search in the women's locker room for Tavion Heights' potential tag team partner and had Alba Fire go on to beat Kendall Gray in a singles match later on in the show. Post-match, Heights revealed that his tag team partner was none other than Olympic gold medalist Tyra May Steele, and as his partner, who came out to lay out Chelsea and the Secret Hervis ahead of the mixed tag team matchup. And then we had one more news report in regards to a recent release from the NXT roster, and that was Shanti the Adonis will not release but exit from the company as his contract expired on Sunday of last week. Fightful Select reports that it was a case of Miles's contract not being renewed as opposed to his being released, and he will be able to immediately take bookings with other companies. Miles was along several other talent that were brought back to WWE in the summer of 2022, and many of whom signed 3-year deals, and that would be up or about now if a number of them hadn't already been released. People in WWE say that Miles was told a couple of weeks ago that his contract would not be renewed and that he had remained on a main roster contract despite being moved to NXT. Ashanti the Adonis got plenty of praise in NXT for his always working to improve himself, as well as noted that he was training on his own time in addition to his work at the Performance Center, and a few names in TNA have said that they want to work with him. So wouldn't be surprised if he wound up joining First Class in TNA with his boy AJ Francis. So hopefully
he'll be back in
WWE.
That'd be fine. Yeah. He'll be back in WWE. That's great for him.
Especially since,
Back in WWE in no time. It's the circle of life. Circle of life. You just wound up in TNA. You're right back in WWE. Talking about our offshoots of WWE, WWE Evolve this week had Carmen Petrovic picking up a win over Tyra May Steele in the main event. Brooks Jensen beat Tight Wilder in the opener to the show, while Dante Chin defeated Idris Enofe, and Layla Diggs pulled off an upset over Zeta Steele, thanks to a miscue with Bryce Donovan of the Vanity Project. And in our last WWE offshoots, TNA this week, TNA Impact, you had the Trick Williams and First Class beat the System in a trios match after the heels had already attacked Moose backstage. There was a Knockouts Tag Team Summit to discuss their 4-way title match at Emergence that led to a big brawl with Zyra Brookside, Lei Ying Lee, and the Inspiration standing tall. Indy Hartwell and Danny Luna picked up a win over Mila Grace and Harley Hudson. Post-match, Rosemary spit poison mist into Indy's face. Then the main event saw Cedric Alexander and the Rascals picked up a win over Leon Slater and the Hardys in a very fun trios matchup, with Cedric pinning his Emergence opponent, which led nicely into last night's Emergence. The show featured Leon Slater defeating Cedric Alexander in an excellent opener to the show to retain the TNA X Division Championship that saw him bust out the Styles Clash, followed by the Swanton 450 for the victory there. Mustafa Ali picked up a win over Matt Cardona in singles competition. Post-match, Order 4 jumped the Cardona until the System came out to make the save. This led to First Class beating the System thanks to a timely assist from Order 4, Agent Zero. Then you had the Elegance brand. They picked up a win over the Inspiration, Zaya Brookside, Lei Ying Lee, and Fatal Influence to retain the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. Steve Macklin beat Jake Something in a no DQ, no countout match to retain the TNA International Championship. Mike Santana beat Sammy Callahan in singles competition. Post-match, Sammy took his boots off and left them in the ring to signal that he was retiring from pro wrestling. The Hardys beat the Rascals to retain the TNA World Tag Team Championships, while Trick Williams defeated Moose to retain the TNA World title in the main event to the show, as Carlos Silva once again was a cuckold to Trick Williams as he handed him the TNA World Championship.
So Trick Williams, they took him off NXT to make him the head guy over in TNA. You can't tell me WWE don't own this.
Have they taken him off NXT? They haven't taken him off NXT.
They haven't, because he's still on there every week. That's true. You're right.
Yeah.
They just took the belt off him, so he can just go somewhere else and do it.
Yeah, basically, he's the face of TNA. It's Trickene.
Yeah,
Trickene.
Yo, I want to ask, was that
the women's TNA belt, or they gave that back?
No, they still have the women's TNA Knockouts belt. That's going to be defended at Heatwave.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so the Callahan finish, was that like a botch, or was that supposed to be planned?
I think the finish was a botch.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
it seemed like he kicked out and the referee just kept counting 3.
Yeah.
So I don't think that was done on purpose, to be honest. And it really looked like Mike Santana was pissed off.
Yeah, because I saw the way he walked off. He didn't look too happy about it.
Yeah, it was, and they tried to play it off of, he was upset that he had to beat his friend and now his friend might retire. I was like, no, it didn't come off like that. It came off like he was pissed that the match didn't end as planned.
Yeah, because that was kind of a sour moment, especially when it's supposed to be his retirement match. All right, TNA for y'all. This is what they're paying for, right? Yeah. They had their fucking feet cut off. This is what they're paying for, like, ladies and gentlemen. TNA. This is TNA for you guys. Man, fuck TNA.
Hey, they can't get everything right, guys. You can't be so hard on them. They're going to be in competition on Wednesday night.
Because they got
this
so
is the kind of show they
wrong.
won against Dynamite every week.
That's why, because they got so much fucking wrong. That's why.
They really think they're going to win against Dynamite. They really think that's going to happen.
Well, WWE wants to put.
I would think that you would think that Dynamite is like giving like these big old numbers, right? Dynamite is just doing whatever they need to do. You know what I'm saying? They're surfacing. They're like this. They're very surface. They got their own deal. They're in their own lane. They're not trying to come over to the other lane, and WWE just keep trying to poke the bear. Poke.
Well, WWE feels like they're the bear, so they can't poke anything.
So you know how it comes off is it's WWE putting the battery on Carlos Silva's back, thinking that he's gonna win a fight, and then he just eventually just gets fucked up. That's what that is.
He's gonna lose badly too. I hate to say. I hate
a fucking incompetent fool. He's an incompetent fool. It's like how you don't see you getting played, but then it's like TNA can stop this too. That's the thing that what it is too. They can stop this, and it's like, you know what I'm saying, like they could stop this, and they're not stopping it. Like that's why it makes it look even more bad, because it's like you guys are being played. This is not a good move, and obviously, like you look like a fucking like Slammiversary. It was bad enough. You look like a cuck, and then you do it again. You're doing the same stuff again. For what? You're waiting for October for Bound for Glory? Man, fuck this. I'm not like what the fuck. Fuck Carlos Silva. He's such a
card in the second. He did enjoy the show. He said Emergence was a pretty solid show. I liked the X Division title match. That was a lot of fun. Myron Kidd says Trick might as well be the face of TNA and NXT because we all know that Triple K won't see him as a face of WWE.
Oh my god. Well, Trick does seem like a bigger champion in NXT right now than Oba.
Yep.
That's true. We got a super chat donation here from Call Me Mr. Bonda. Thank you so much, Bonda, for the support. He says WWE Weekly TV is a registered torture device.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Know that. That makes sense. That makes sense. I have torture watching all this stuff, even the offshoots like TNA sometimes. Watching Stuff says, I don't even love AEW, but I hope TNA loses badly to AEW because why are people happy about a potential monopoly with TKO gobbling up companies?
That part. Say it again. Yep.
It's very true. It's very true. Chuck Berry saying TNA is voluntarily falling on the grenade and covering up for WWE. They think that if they get a TV deal out of all of this, that it's all worth it. Is it all worth it?
No,
not necessarily.
Nobody wants to watch TNA like that.
But the WWE will work their magic and get them a TV deal.
Yeah.
Really.
But when does it happen? The moment that TNA, they get some buzz, they get the viewers, they win like their first night of viewership. Guess what? Fucking WWE's gonna lead them in the dust. That's what's gonna end up happening. They're gonna lead them flat.
They're going to give him support for like the first couple of weeks, maybe the first
month.
That's it. Even.
That's it.
That's about it.
And because the only way anything big happens is like you said, like the Lorenzo. Because a lot of people don't know is that Lorenzo, when he was the owner of the UFC, it was under Zufia. So that's why that partnership. That's why that was like, him and Dana White were partners. They were technically partners, but Lorenzo was the owner. So that's why Dana White is the president. That's why he's still president, because when it was sold, that was one of the agreements. Keep Dana White as president.
There you go. But yes, we're moving on from WWE. Any other comments? Leave a super chat donation if you want to talk about it in regards to anything that we discussed about WWE or TNA today, because we're going over to the company that they seem to be hell-bent on destroying, AEW. You had AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. They did 690,000 viewers. The show featured Hangman Adam Page and MJF kicking off the program with their face-to-face confrontation. MJF gave away his game plan of trying to make Hangman angry to give him a title match at Forbidden Door so Page can lose in his first AEW world title defense on pay-per-view. However, Hangman called out MJF's stick and said that he would have to man up and prove everyone wrong by being a man and executing his contract, facing him at the pay-per-view. But he says that MJF won't do that. But Hangman was successful in goading MJF into doing just that until he realized he fucked up. However, Max got a bit of revenge when he jumped Hangman from behind in the parking lot, laying him out to close the broadcast 2 weeks before Forbidden Door. Jon Moxley beat Kevin Knight in a good opener. Post-match, the Death Riders attacked Jet Speed until Darby Allin came out to make the save. Darby put Wheeler Yuta in a body bag again until Claudio Castagnoli returned to attack Allin from behind. He put Allin in the body bag and did a UFO spin with no hands, smashing Darby in the process. He went to smash Darby's neck with the steel chair, but it was Will Ospreay who made his return to AEW to make the save. Ospreay then challenged Mox and the Death Riders to face him, Darby, and some of his friends in a lights-out steel cage match at Forbidden Door. Ospreay revealed that Hiroshi Tanahashi would be one of his partners, while Moxley recruited the Young Bucks in the extras locker room. Later, it was announced to be the Death Riders, Gabe Kidd, and the Bucks facing Ospreay, Darby, Tanahashi, and the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, next Sunday in London, England. Hiromu Takahashi, speaking of the Young Bucks, Hiromu Takahashi made his return to AEW to answer the challenge of Don Callis for someone from NJPW, as Hiromu teamed with Brody King, Hologram, and Tomohiro Ishii to defeat the Young Bucks, who got another ridiculous entrance, no music, and were called by their backyard wrestling names, as they lost alongside Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher of the Don Callis family, with Hiromu getting the pinfall victory. Post-match, it was announced that Hiromu will challenge Fletcher for the TNT title at Forbidden Door coming up next Sunday. Alex Windsor, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale, they picked up a win over Sky Blue, Tekla, and Mercedes Moné in a solid trios matchup. Post-match, the brawl broke out with Timeless Tony Storm and Athena in the crowd that came to the ring, as well as Windsor and Monet. Storm and Windsor got the better of the two champions, and Tony challenged them to a tag match next week in Scotland. The Ops, for some reason, were in the main event as they picked up a win over LFI. Don't know why, but that's what happened. Adam Cole defeated Stokely Hathaway via disqualification when FTR interfered and Stokes threw powder into Cope's eyes. Post-match, you had FTR and Stokes jumped Cope until Christian Cage made the save with Spike. Christian also fought off the Matriarchies, Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne with Cope. Cope was handed Spike by Christian, but Cope gave Christian a hug in return as we get the reunion of Cope and Christian. They will team for the first time in over a decade and next Sunday at Forbidden Door when they face Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne.
Look at Edge and Christian back together again. Isn't this lovely?
That was so rushed. Rushed. It was ridiculous. I feel like we missed multiple chapters. The amount of speed, the way they have speed run through the MJF leaving the Hurt Syndicate and Cope and Christian reunion, I would think that Tony Khan reverted back to Tony Khan of 2023 this week. Like, this was ridiculous. Back-to-back weeks of Hurt Syndicate and MJF's done. This week we're getting Cope and Christian reunion. It just felt so rushed. Could have been done way better than what we got.
Yep. Could have been like another. They could have happened next week, technically.
Next week, the week after. Like, you got multiple weeks until All Out.
Right, you're right. I'm gonna say the days before All Out. It could happen like that Wednesday before. Like, it make people excited, keep people on their toes. Because like, now what are you gonna do?
It just doesn't make sense. Cope literally called Christian an asshole last week. Said that he didn't learn his lessons. Say that he didn't find himself. He found himself in the last 7 days. That's interesting. Wish we would have saw it. Stupid. I like how they built out the Lights Out Steel Cage matchup as far as like putting big names in it, but that could have been done way better than you didn't have to tell us that it's Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi this week. You could have just said it's Darby, Ospreay, Tanahashi, and two mystery partners, and then reveal that in Scotland the following week.
Because you could have been like, we still looking for partners. You know, a lot of people told us no. Or like they could have been going around the locker room like, oh no, I can't do it that day. I'm booked and busy. Like it could have been like another part of the story where they had to like look for a partner. And then, hey, I heard you need a partner. I'm available. Call me.
Or just they're doing a whole angle next week with Ospreay and Moxley meeting in the ring to do a promo exchange. Just have the Death Riders come out, Young Bucks come out, they're outnumbered, and then Omega and Ibushi make the save and reveal they're the tag team partners. I booked that, and I got you a whole nother week of build up instead of the way you did it, where you just did 2 segments backstage, which was fine to kind of build it up and make the announcement at the end of the night, but to just announce the Golden Lovers instead of doing an angle to have them come back, I would have done the angle.
Yep.
Josh, any thoughts or words on Dynamite this week?
I do feel like the Cope and Christian stuff did get rushed. I necessarily don't hate it, but I do feel like it was rushed. Just because like one of those things where I'm like, I do want to see them how they work together because it's been so long. It's been what, 25 years, right? 25 years.
Well, no, they haven't teamed in like I think it's 14 years.
14 years? Oh, because they teamed up last time on but
before Edge
his
retired.
injury before his retirement. I mean, it was rushed. I didn't hate it, but it was one of those things where I'm like, maybe we could have gotten at least like 2-3 more weeks off of it. But I guess they wanted to put up the match on Forbidden Door. They wanted to have something on Forbidden Door before it. But besides that, I do like some of the matches for Forbidden Door, regardless of the, New Japan hasn't been used because they're doing their biggest tournament of the year. So there were some things they had to navigate, but I do like some of the matches that they've put together. Especially that steel cage match. When he said Tanahashi, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you ready for this cage match, old man? You sure you want this? You sure you want this violent? Because we're gonna get a lot of violent stuff in this matchup alone. I'm like, you ready for that, old man? I know you're the ace, but damn, like, you're gonna be ready. That's all I gotta say, man. You gotta be ready. But I do like the matchup itself. Like, could it have been a better build up to that? Yes. But I do like the matchup. Like, it does make, I was like, oh shit, like this is kind of like, it's a big time matchup. The Hangman stuff and MJF stuff was really good too, especially how try to bait Hangman and Hangman actually threw the bait back and caught MJF in it. So that was great stuff.
Yeah, that was the best stuff on the show was Hangman and MJF. They feel like the two top stars in the company. And now they're doing their title match and might not main event because usually lights out matchups main event the show. So I don't know. I think it's a main event.
I think it's still going to main event.
I'm hoping that it's still main events, but I'm not sure anymore, which is I don't know how I feel. And yeah, don't get me started on the Dynamite choice for main event. This was a fine episode of Dynamite, even like you could say solid, but it wasn't as good as the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks were much better than this. There was the rush reunion of Cope leaves a bad taste of Cope and Christian leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And also it's the fact of you're only doing this if you're making Cope and Christian versus FTR at All Out for the tag team titles. And that match does not need the tag team titles. So yeah, I'm not pleased with any of the promotions we're talking about today. To be fair, so
it was a sad week this week.
You're not pleased, but I'm like, I mean, one is worse. I mean, one is still worse than the other. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, you can say that, but I still AEW, they don't have time to be making these stupid decisions. It's stupid. The window is open for them to take that top spot because WWE is doing their stupidness and they're not capitalizing on it, and I don't like it. But got news to discuss when it comes to AEW. Another thing that they did stupid this week, Samoa Joe just came back. He was just announced. Oh, he's in a matchup. So you did a whole off for Samoa Joe, and he just comes back. No pomp, no circumstance. He's just back on the show. This 2 weeks in a row they did that because they did the same shit with Christian Cage last week where they just said, oh, he's going to talk on the show.
That bad promo? You mean that bad promo he cut?
He was supposed to be out for a while, but yeah, he's just back on the show to do a bad promo. And then Joe, he's back on the show to do a main event that shouldn't be the main event. But Samoa Joe revealed that he suffered a fractured ankle during the filming of Twisted Metal Season 2. He recently returned to the ring on last Wednesday's episode of the AEW Dynamite. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Joe is also currently dealing with a shoulder injury that he is working through. While Joe was in the ring during Dynamite, his time in the matchup was limited as Powerhouse Hobbs and Katsuyori Shibata did a bulk of the work for their team. Speaking of Samoa Joe, speaking of the ops, AEW teased the return on Wednesday night of Hook with a new Gotham City-esque vignette. Fightful Select had an update on the AEW status of the wrestler who has been out of action since April 9th edition of AEW Dynamite in Baltimore, where he was attacked by Claudio Castagnoli with a chair. Fightful reports that Hook is still firmly under contract with All Elite Wrestling, and he is said to have re-signed with the company last year. It's said that Hook signed a new multi-year deal with AEW in 2024. Hook reportedly retained Barry Bloom's group to represent him for contract negotiations. Sources familiar with the situation indicated that Hook, to Fightful, that Hook had already re-signed with AEW and has multiple years left on his current deal. It was previously reported last month that Hook has not yet been cleared for an in-ring return as of yet. And he's not the only one who's got a new contract with AEW, as in a post on Instagram, Kota Ibushi announced that he has signed a new 2-year deal with AEW ahead of his return at Forbidden Door. Ibushi is set to team with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, and Hiroshi Tanahashi against Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Gabe Kidd, and the Young Bucks. He wrote, this was incredible, a turning point in my life. I never thought I'd get to ride in a private jet, and I signed a 2-year contract renewal. I still want to live, but I have no choice but to live. I can't imagine myself still wrestling at 45. What else do I want? I don't know. I have a dream to live and live this kind of pro wrestling. Back in the day when I was little, not just a good 99% hell, you won't get there. How tough that 95% hell was far above imagination. From training and daily living, just don't look down, up the top, and still not enough, not like this. So Ibushi is back. Ibushi signed a new deal. Hook signed a new deal. Joe is back, but no pomp or circumstance. Just do better, AEW. That's all I ask. Just do better. Last Saturday, you had AEW Collision back in their regular spot. They did 423,000 viewers. The show featured Kyle Fletcher defeating Tomohiro Ishii in a terrific opener to retain the TNT Championship. Ricochet picked up a win over Juice Robinson thanks to outside interference from Big Bill. FTR and Stokes picked up a squash victory in trios action. Hechicero defeated AR Fox to gain more momentum ahead of challenging Bandito for the ROH World title at Death Before Dishonor at the end of the month. Triangle of Madness beat Queen Aminata, Ty Mello, and Willow Nightingale in trios action.
I don't understand why she gotta keep losing. She done lost like 4 in a row. Just keeping count, Tony Khan. Just letting you know.
Willow?
You know that. Not just Willow, Queen Aminata as well.
She's like, I'm keeping count.
I'm keeping count. Now she's a whole jobber. Hello.
Katsuyori Shibata picked up a win over Max Caster in his Best Wrestler Alive Open Challenge, but Shibata showed respect to Caster post-match. This led to LFI jumping both men until Jet Speed made the save. Finally, Hangman Adam Page, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey defeated LFI in an awesome trios main event in Hangman's hometown of Virginia. Really good episode of Collision. I thought Collision this week was better than Dynamite. I wasn't too high on Dynamite this week, to be fair.
Fair.
And then final news notes from AEW. Several matches have been announced for tonight's AEW Collision, which includes the debut of former TNA wrestler Ace Austin, who will be going one-on-one with Ricochet. Tony Khan, this is a spoiler, so if you don't like spoilers for tonight's Collision, turn off and then skip to the live. In 3, 2, 1, Fightful reports that Tony Khan confirmed during the show that Ace Austin is now All Elite. He has signed a contract with the company, and he will be making his debut and will be here a lot longer following tonight's Collision. So congratulations to Ace Austin. And we have 2 more signings of contracts as Kyle Fletcher has re-signed with All Elite Wrestling. Fightful Select reports that the TNT champion has signed a new long-term deal with AEW. The multi-year deal was made back in the spring with a representative used to negotiate on behalf of Fletcher. It's said to be a big money deal when you take Fletcher's age into account, and he is expected to be a major part of the company going forward. Tony Khan previously said that he sees Fletcher as a big part of AEW's future. Meanwhile, someone who's been working more behind the scenes and on commentary than in the ring, AEW's Daddy Magic's days in the company aren't ending anytime soon, as he signed a new deal. Fightful Select reports that he signed a new multi-year deal with the company. The report notes that Menard's deal was set to expire around All In Texas, but that he extended it. The new deal is 5 years in length, thus will carry him into the summer of 2030. Menard was said to be more than happy to stay and is a well-liked person in the locker room. So some big signings, some big re-signings for AEW. Josh, what do you think about Ace Austin, the latest addition to the AEW roster?
I was very surprised. I thought he was somebody that would go to like an NXT. But I'm really surprised with he chose AEW. I think his wrestling style does fit AEW a lot more. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him, how they fit him in, or if he gets paired up. There was a lot of suggestions that I did see people saying that Bang Bang Gang, like putting him in that group. They could find a way to put him in the group and it makes sense. I'm not opposed to it, but it's a good move it's a good thing for him. I'm very happy with Ace Austin. I've worked with him a few times when I worked with Battle Club Pro. Always kind, always nice to talk to. So on a personal level, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, a bunch of people, even Greg Carter II says Ace Austin should join the Bang Bang Gang. That would make sense. All of them were brought into the Bullet Club by Jay White, so that makes sense there.
And they need them in the Bullet Club anyway, because there's everyone, the other two are all injured, so you need something happening. So yeah, that would be a good addition.
Finishing up with the Converse ROH on Honor Club, you had the show featured Lee Moriarty and Zehuya going to a 10-minute time limit draw in an ROH Pure Rules Championship Proving Ground matchup. Defento, Volador Jr., The Beast Mortos, and Hechicero picked up a win over AR Fox, Alex Zane, and the Spanish Announce Project in an 8-man tag team matchup. Willie Mack made his return and picked up a win over Gringo Loco, while Tomohiro Ishii defeated the debuting main man Aura, the former Aura Mensa from NXT, in his debut in Ring of Honor this week as well. But we're not done with AEW completely, because we got to go over to the partner promotion, because yes, I need to rant some more about Evil. Fucking Evil. G1 Climax 35, final week. We're wrapping things up. Day 15 featured the A Block final as Evil beat Hiroshi Tanahashi to earn the top spot in the A Block and advance to the semifinals. Why? Because Gedo hates me. Yota Tsuji defeated Callum Newman in a solid bout to earn his spot in the G1 playoffs. You also had Bolton Oleg. He picked up a win over Tai Chi in a good matchup. Sanada beat Roye Uyawa to eliminate Uyawa from playoff contention, while David Finlay completed his miraculous comeback by defeating Yuya Uemura in a great main event to earn the final spot for the A Block side in the G1 playoffs. Then day 16 B Block final had Konosuke Takeshita picking up a win over Ren Narita to earn the last spot in the G1 Climax playoffs. Shota Umino beat Great Okan to earn a spot in the G1 playoffs, while Shingo Takagi denied Drilla Maloney of his spot in the playoffs by in a banger of a matchup with a win there. And Zack Sabre Jr. beat Yoshihashi in a brilliant encounter to solidify the number one spot in the B Block and move on to the semifinals. Day 17 was the start of the playoffs. First night, you had Konosuke Takeshita beat David Finlay in a tremendous encounter. That was one of the best matches of the tournament so far. That was only equaled by Yota Tsuji defeating Shota Umino in a splendid main event to advance to the G1 semifinals. Everything was right in the world. Tsuji is in the semifinals. He's going to make the finals, right? And Konosuke Takeshita is in the semifinals. He can make the finals. But it all went to hell this morning. Day 18 was the semifinals where hell froze over. And fucking Evil defeated the last hope of New Japan Pro Wrestling's youth movement and the favorite to win the fucking tournament, Yota Tsuji, in a disastrous, baffling, incompetent decision from the creative for this fucking piss poor excuse for a result. Evil is in the fucking G1 final. Fuck you, Gedo. Fuck you. He got the win thanks to help from Bad Luck Fale, who potentially may have concussed Yota Tsuji at the end of this matchup, too. Yeah, just go right along. Just fuck all the youth, apparently, says Gedo. Konosuke Takeshita, though, made me smile just slightly after this as he defeated Zack Sabre Jr. in an absolutely phenomenal main event that told a superb story based on their previous bout and built up to a thrilling crescendo of a win where Konosuke Takeshita dropped Zack Sabre Jr. on his head with a super brain buster that has to be seen to believe. But it does set up the finals tomorrow morning and our final predictions here. Who's it going to be? Krssi, Josh, Konosuke Takeshita, or fucking Evil?
Takeshita.
I would hope.
I want Takeshita.
I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to do it. They're not.
You think that Evil's going to win the whole G1 climax?
I would not be surprised at this point because Gedo hates me. He hates me so much.
Okay.
I'm convinced. Josh, who's your pick?
My pick is not Evil. That's where I'll stand with that.
No one's gonna pick Evil. No one's gonna go with the logical pick after this morning. That's the logical.
You might have somebody in the chat. Where's Big Man Dogs? He might pick Evil because apparently
RJ Finisher is going for Evil. He's even made an awful nickname for him. G1 Evil, apparently.
Evil.
I don't know. I probably might have been for Gedo because that's how Gedo coming off right now.
Fucking hate Gedo. Why is Gedo? Yeah, it's time for him to give up the book. Just take him out back. He thinks that this House of Torture thing is working. Does he think that we're supposed to we want more House of Torture? That's what he thinks? Do I have stupid written over the top of my forehead or something?
You don't.
Apparently we all do. Apparently we all do. And probably some people got cut all written on their forehead because of it. I just don't know. I don't know.
Carmio Stavanda says, "Yeah, I don't think I'll be watching the G1 final tomorrow anymore. Just hope Takeshita wins." This is where
smiley face to me.
This is where they got us. This is where they got us at.
So what you're saying is they had a whole great G1 leading up to this morning, and then
no, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it's been that great. It's just it sums up the winner. Evil winning basically just sums up.
It's been very polarizing in regards to opinions. There's people that have enjoyed most of the G1. There's people that's like, this is not the G1 that they wanted because there's been so much House of Torture involvement. And then he just doubled down on it by having Evil win.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Like this year's doesn't come close to what last year did. I thought last year was great. This doesn't come close to what they did last year. And making this move just kind of just sums up. At least if you you'd have Yota Tsuji and Konosuke, you feel better about it because you can't. Both competitors, you can't. I mean, I'm gonna say you can't go wrong, but they're favorable guys that is like, all right, I could deal with it. You can't deal with this shit.
Tsuji winning. The spotlight on today's show would have been all on how great Zack Sabre Jr. versus Takeshita was. No one's talking about it because I think people were like basically checked out of the main event because of this decision to have Evil win.
It's true. It's very unfortunate, man. And I guess, man, it's very unfortunate just because This is the again. I just don't know how the Japanese fans feel. Maybe they feel
Are they
differently.
voicing their opinions? Like, are they saying how they feel? Like,
They're not
It seemed
as
like to
vocal.
me,
Yeah.
they've seen like to me that they didn't like this decision because you're making it very hard to invest in the future of the company when you make every one of these young stars losers.
Yeah, and that's a
Ooh.
problem.
And
yeah.
now the choice is between Evil, who's he's basically out of his prime and objectively is like one of the more hated people from the Western side of fans. The Japanese fans is more split on him than the Western fans are. And then it's either between him or an AEW wrestler for the for the G1 win instead of the young guy you've been building who felt like he was next up in Tsuji. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I could,
And then I mean
I hate
the only silver lining is that say that whoever wins the G1, right? They still are in a match, right? From what I understand, the contract or some shit, right? And they still technically have to win the contract. So it's like that's the only silver lining when it comes to that.
No. The winner of the G1 defends the contract for Wrestle Kingdom. He has the contract once you win the G1, but whoever beats you in the tournament has a chance to challenge you for the contract at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, so it's like yeah, I mean everybody hope it's not Evil. That's yeah.
Yeah, please no, please. I don't need more Evil in my life. RP Jesus says, why won't Gedo let Yuya be great? I agree. I wish he would just let Yuya Uemura, who had a great tournament, he should at least made the playoffs. But no, we needed a spot for Evil. Evil is the reason why Yuya Uemura can't make the playoffs, because we got to put Evil in the semifinals. We got to put Evil in the finals of the fucking G1. Jesus Christ. Gedo's gonna have to do a press conference where he's like, well, Hiroshi Tanahashi, he really wanted to work with Evil in his final run, so I had no choice. But to give him what he wants. Kind of like what Triple H says about, Brock Lesnar. John Cena really wanted to work with him. But
is that what they said? Oh my god!
Yes.
I hope that.
Yes, we talked about that last week.
And it wasn't true, by the way, too. That's
no, it wasn't. Cena came out and exposed them quickly after that. And then finally, from our AEW partner portal here, there's probably the most we've talked about in New Japan. So leave the comment. Let us know what you think about the decision for Evil to make the final. But finally, we got CMLL Viernes, Espectacular last night, which was headlined by AEW's own MJF defeating Zandakan Jr. thanks to a low blow to retain the CMLL World Championship. Post-match, Mystico came out and confronted MJF, making the challenge for the anniversary show next week for the CMLL World Championship. And then you also had Mystico and Hologram beat Beast Mortos and Defento in a fun tag team bout. But that was CMLL Viernes Espectacular. As far as my G1 final prediction, I think there's no brainer by the amount that I've ranted about this. Takeshita has to win. He must win. There's no other choice. We won't have Gedo fool us and think that Evil is the only choice. No, fuck that. Can't believe he did that shit. Piss me off. But we've made it to Krssi Luv's favorite time of the show. Best and worst of the week, match of the week, and moment of the week. Krssi Luv, who was your best and worst from this week?
It's hard because it's such best of the week. Come back to me. I gotta think about this.
All right, Josh.
Best of the week. Best of the week. I'm gonna say Hangman and MJF. Worst of the week. Gotta be TNA for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say TNA to G1 for their foolishness, for their worst.
I am going to give it to Takeshita for best of the week because I need him to have all the good vibes possible, and he had a great week with his 2 banger matches with Finlay and ZSJ back to back, basically. So I'll give him best of the week, and he beat Narita, so he denied us all House of Torture finals. So I have to give Takeshita best of the week, and worst of the week, I'm giving it to Gedo. TNA is just a rumor. I can't give it to TNA. It's just a rumor. We don't know for sure yet. Gedo did something that deserves him being the worst of the week.
Rumor or not, they're still cucking. So it's like I still give it to
I'm gonna go give to Takeshita because he should win. Love Takeshita. Worst, the ending of the G1 this morning or whatever. So
also fair. Moment of the week, I'll give it to the MJF and Hangman face to face.
Yes. Finally happening. Yeah.
Josh, what about you?
Same.
So we're all give it to the same. Yeah. And then matches of the week. No, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was gonna add to the Mexico stuff from yesterday. MJF took off his mask and power drived him. Yeah, that's how that ended.
Yeah. But yes, great. Finally, we got our matches of the week, and I only have 10 this week, guys. Only have 10. I numbered it down by 5.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to the Hiromu Brody hologram and Ishii versus Callis Family and Bucks matchup from Dynamite. Number 10, though, Hangman and Jet Speed versus LFI from Collision. 9, Shingo Takagi versus Drilla Maloney from the G1 Climax. Number 8, Absaray versus Suzu Suzuki from Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix. We'll get back on Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix on next week's show where I'll have time to catch up. I'm still getting acclimated to U.S. time. 7, David Finlay versus Yuya Uemura from the G1. Number 6, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Yoshihashi. Number 5, Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander from TNA Emergence. Number 4, Suji versus Shooter from the G1. Number 3, Kyle Fletcher versus Tomohiro Ishii from last week's Collision. Number 2, Konosuke Takeshita versus David Finlay from the G1. And number 1, Takeshita versus ZSJ from this morning's G1. Josh.
Oh yeah, you missed it, Krssi. Last week I had 5. You missed it.
What? Oh my God, dang. I'm proud
this week I have 3.
Damn, it's only 1 week. Do you see that happen? What happened when I'll be out?
Go ahead, Josh.
Number 3. Damn. You see, I had it in my head and then I just lost it.
He bragged and he forgot.
You see, that's my fault. That was my fault. I'll take the L on that. Damn. You see, I just had it. And then, because some of the matches from the G1, well, I'm trying to remember. It was 2 of your matches that you said, SP3. Because I caught up to it. Yes, it was that match. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Zack Sabre Jr. match because I actually did watch that before I got on. And 1, what was it? I had number 1, the match from Collision.
Fletcher and Ishii.
Yeah.
That's a good choice. That's a good shout. Krssi, matches of the week.
Kyle Fletcher is number 1. Number 2, I did see the Zack Sabre Jr. match. And then number 3, I'll give it to the women from the Collision, even though they lost, Willow and Queen Abanada, and they lost, but I'll give that number 3.
Fair. You always got to have the woman. Got to represent the woman there. And yes, Chuck Berry's. This is the first time in a while. He says this may be the first time that SP3 did not have any matches from Dynamite on his top 10 match list.
Yes,
because they didn't. See, that's another reason. That's another reason why I didn't like Dynamite that much this week. I missed out. The only match that came close was the Hiromu matchup, getting in the honorable mention. That's it.
Yeah, because it was a nice moment seeing him. It was cool, but it was like the match was fine too, but it wasn't like. Yeah, I mean, it was a solid match. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really fun, really good matchup. It wasn't on like the level of like Brodito versus the Bucks last week, or
Right.
Oh yeah, that was incredible. Yeah, you see, that was incredible. We got that on TV.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why we love Wednesdays. We love Wednesdays because you can get that type of quality there. But let's talk about the final predictions for AAA TripleMania 33. If you know anything about TripleMania, this could either be the worst show of the year or the most hilarious show of the year. There's no in between.
Yeah, the fact that you went away from great.
It's not going to be the best show of the year. That's for damn sure. It's going to be one of the worst shows of the year or the most hilarious. I think that's the best way to put it. They have the Copa Baradal matchup, which is for the Baradal Cup. So it's basically their version of the Royal Rumble. It's going to have various participants. They haven't announced anyone in particular, so we don't need to do predictions on that. Then we got... For the Reina de Reyes Championship, their women's title is going to be Lady Flamer versus Fabi Apache versus Natalia. Krssi Luv, what do you got? Flamer, Fabi, or Natty?
Just what you just did there. The one that's in the white.
That's Flamer, Lady Flamer. Who's the champion going in?
Yep.
Who you got, Josh?
I got Natalia because WWE's gonna take all the belts and there's something for the brag about. It's gonna be Natalia.
Ding 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 ding. That is what I am also thinking. These are all gonna be won by WWE people. Yes, Natalia.
Oh right, because this is their shit. Oh crap.
They own it now. This is the first Triplemania under their ownership.
Oh, I forgot all about this. Yes, you're right. Oh. Probably Natty. Okay, Natty's gonna be the champ because Natty needs to be a champion in some kind of way. So
For the Latin American Championship, you got El Masais versus Elio D. Dr. Wagner Jr., or as many of us call him, Dr. Wagner the Third. I'm going with Dr. Wagner the Third to become the new champion. Josh?
I'm going Dr. Wagner.
Krssi?
Dr. Wagner. I don't even know who got either one of these guys are.
Well, he
one
was
on the right with the mask.
He was
Dr.
trying.
Wagner 3.
Yeah, and I
was trying because he's not the champ. Because you said I said new champs. I still don't know who the hell they are though. I was just saying.
El Masais, if you ever watched Lucha Underground, he was Mil Mortes. That's all I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wagner. WWE was trying to sign him prior to the sale. So.
Then we got for the AAA World Tag Team Championships in a street fight. It's going to be Los Garza, Angel, and Berto defending against Psycho Clown and Pagano. Psycho Clown has been feuding with Los Garza ever since the WWE acquisition has gone down. He's got another partner here after losing with Mr. Iguana a couple of weeks ago on SmackDown. What do you got here, Josh?
I got Los Garza retaining. I don't see it leaving them anytime soon.
Yep, champs retain.
Champs retain. I agree. Then we got in a big time trios matchup. It's going to be WWE's own The Judgment Day. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez in their corner versus Nino Hamburguesil, hamburger in Spanish.
Okay.
Teaming with Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana. I'm going with The Judgment Day.
I was like, even though Mr. Iguana is super over, I think The Judgment Day is going to win.
Who you got, Josh?
I got Judgment Day. And Mr. Iguana is only over in America because Americans are weird. Yeah. He has a punchable face. Like, fuck that
wow. Guy. Damn. Okay. And then finally, we have for the AAA Mega Campeón. It's going to be El Hijo del Vikingo defending against Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, and the Intercontinental Champion, Dominic Mysterio. Krssi, who you got?
Dom for the win.
Damn.
Josh?
I low-key got Vikingo retaining, but it would not surprise me if it's Dom.
They got Dom over, son. Dom is super over, yo. Even though he get booed, he's super over.
I'll tell you one thing. WWE in a matchup, I'm taking WWE. I'm going with Dominic Mysterio for the win. Dirty Dom, new AAA.
Yeah. Which is ironic because they already made Vikingo the champion. So it's like
I could have sworn he had the belt. Or didn't he have the belt and then he lost it?
No,
he had the belt for like 2 years.
Yeah.
He got injured, and then El Patron won the title, and then they put the title back on him for the Worlds Collide event. But then Dom got over when he made his appearance before the show, and it's like
the fans have turned off Vikingo. Yeah, the fans have turned off Vikingo because it was a WWE decision, and they were pissed off that El Patron lost the belt because of that fashion. But when Dom showed up, like he did get like that, he got a crazy pop.
Yeah, a crazy pop. Yeah, they loved him. He was super over.
I mean, I won't be mad at it because it's not gonna be surprising, but I think it'll be kind of. I mean, it'll be cool for him. It'll be cool for Dom for sure. He puts the belt over, so
it's gonna be double champ Dom. Can't wait.
Me too. I can't wait. That's gonna be amazing.
But yes, it's gonna be AAA's TripleMania 33. It's gonna be available on the WWE YouTube channel, WWE Espanol YouTube channel, and the Lucha Libre AAA YouTube channel. So you can watch it for free tonight. Check it out. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll probably do a review either for the channel or for patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. So go over and become a backer over there. Just $3 a month gets you exclusive content like that. But we've made it to the end of another edition of our flagship podcast. Appreciate all of y'all who joined us live. If you haven't already, drop the thumbs up on the video. That helps out the YouTube algorithms oh so much. And we always appreciate that type of love. It's the easiest way for you to show your support. Share the video. Subscribe if you are new. And, of course, thank you to Miss Krssi Luv and to Josh. Miss Krssi Luv will give you the floor first. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they shall see you again.
You can follow me, Krssi Luv _1, Tru Heel Krssi Luv, or just my plain name. I will be back next week. Probably myself and SP will probably do our review for BMF for the other channel and some other things coming up. So join us there. Thanks.
Josh?
You can follow me, JM Punk 321, Twitter and Instagram, and I'll be back next weekend for the podcast, and then probably Sunday. Yeah, I'll be on for the review for Forbidden Door.
Well, I think Forbidden Door is on Sunday.
It's on Sunday.
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
Oh fuck! So I won't. Yeah, disregard. Because
don't worry. We'll probably have J News and Professor Chris for the Forbidden Door review. That will be next Monday, so join us for that. We'll have preview for Forbidden Door this coming Friday right here on the channel. It will be myself, Maggie, and maybe some others joining. Well, J News will definitely be joining us for that one as well. I'm trying to think. Probably maybe Wednesday, we'll have our WWE Heat Wave preview for that show that's coming up next Sunday as well. And of course, right here on the flagship next Saturday, we'll have final predictions for both Forbidden Door and Heat Wave right here. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Tru Heel SP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Tru Heel Heat. Patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. It's the best way to support us when we are not live here. And like Krssi said, go over to Tru Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment, where we got plenty of great stuff. We'll have a BMF episode 9 review we'll be dropping over there. And like Krssi said, me and her will be back to review the season finale of season 4 of BMF over there, as well as we got to get Power Talk going as we prepare for Force, which will be coming out in November. So stay tuned for that as well. But for Miss Krssi Luv, for the Tru Draw Josh, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 342, Proxy Warfare. We are signing off until next time.
Laters.